to the Midheaven podcast live. My name is Candice Marie, and this is my partner in crime,
Hermes. I feel partially responsible. I've learned that during Mercury retrogrades, I amplify the effects of Mercury retrograde because I'm Mercury anyways. So I'm starting to realize, oh wow.
Oh my gosh, I'm so over this retrograde. Thank you guys for waiting. I know we're a little bit behind. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back.
A little petty.
It's been a little petty, right?
Yeah.
The eclipses, the retrograde.
What is Mercury in Taurus again?
It's back in Taurus. Yeah, you're having another Mercury return. Dude, fucking magic, wizard.
I mean, you know what? That's been the most pressing theme. I think maybe I'm breaking through after it goes direct.
Yeah? Okay, yeah. I hope so.
I can control it, maybe.
Well, in true Mercury fashion, we're switching things up a little bit. We heard through the grapevine there was an overwhelming request, and people said, let's do astrology readings. So we're kind of changing things up a little bit. Those of you guys who are used to our channel, thank you for coming back. Just a couple things, just a heads up. This is different than when we do the tarot. We have never attempted to do astrology readings on the Midheaven podcast, surprisingly.
Which is ironic. Yeah.
So we're going to try it now, but just a heads up, it's a little bit different. So when you guys scan the QR code that's right over here or over here, I think it's over there. When you scan that to make a donation, the minimum for a reading is going to be $50 because we are going to be pulling up your chart, looking up your chart, answering your questions, and we're going to get a number of people who are coming in. We've already got about 7 or 8 people that are already in the queue. So we will probably call a last call much sooner than usual just so we can accommodate everyone.
Sure.
So we appreciate your patience. When you get a astrological reading, we need to know your first name, exact time, date, and location of birth, AM or PM. We're here in the States, so please let us know the state, the month before the day. And we have a $50 minimum, so I know that for the most part everybody's good. It looks like Kayla made a donation at $40. We just need another $10 to be able to answer your question. I appreciate that. Sorry, we're switching it up on you guys. And as always, if you guys want to make donations, we are willing to accept that as well. But just know that all of your readings do go towards cost for the podcast, production, food, snacks, time that we put into this because we are self-funded and we're a 3-man team.
As a part of the Feed a Young African Foundation.
Yeah, for $50, you can help a Nigerian drink for the month on the podcast. So, just so you guys know. Yes, we got it, Kayla. We just need another $10. Sorry, I hate to ask, but that's the minimum for donations. Oh, yes. Also, consider joining our memberships. If you are a member, and because this is going to be the last reading for the month and you want to cash in, you can cash in on that as well. We've got a number of people who are in the queue, so let me refresh this really quick and just let you guys know in order who I have. Some of you guys may not be live, so I just want to say in order, we've got Vanessa, Crystal, Stephanie, Paula, Michelle, Madison, Melanie, and Kayla in that order. So we've got about 7 or 8 people. And we're going to be looking at your astrology charts, answering your questions. We're going to be pulling, I believe we're going to be pulling your chart up. We might. I don't know. I'm not sure how this works. I do this on my channel. We've never done this on this channel before. So I don't know how it's going to work having 2 people. But usually...
But you still got experience reading charts.
Yes. We're going to be interpreting transits or natal aspect. We're not going to be doing full-blown natal readings. If you have a question about a certain area of your life, if you're going through a difficult time, if you have a question about a specific area, if you have a question about a specific aspect, we will be answering that. We are only going to limit it to natal aspects and transits. We're not going to be looking at solar returns. We're not going to be looking at lunar returns. It's a little complex, but you can ask anything. So if you're like, what is my love life looking like in the near future? What do I need to know about my career or job changes? How are the eclipses affecting me? Anything like that. So if you have any questions particularly about specific areas of your life, we're going to look at the transits that are happening to your chart, or we can look at your natal aspects and talk to you a little bit about that.
And we are the Midheaven podcast. So the very first thing we'll do is look at your MC and we'll tell you who you're meant to be.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So you can ask really whatever you guys want to ask. So we won't be interpreting, unfortunately, progress charts or solar or lunar returns, but if that's the kind of stuff you guys want to see, check out my podcast. Check out my YouTube channel at Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. Every Saturday night I do live readings, and I do that stuff. And as always, if you send a payment, let us know. So I appreciate that, Rachel. We will plug you in. You are going to be in the queue. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with Vanessa.
Soup. Boom, boom,
So there's her chart. And Vanessa's information is 11/11/1988 at 11:54 p.m. And that was in Mesa, Arizona.
20 degrees
says,
Scorpio.
what aspects of my life require more focus and attention from me at this time? Love and Dharma. Open for whatever message needs to be heard. Interesting. So,
Well, we know she's MC in Taurus. You're meant to be just wealthy AF. Looks like you don't have the South Node natally, but I'm so fascinated with Leo risings because y'all are coming in as so much fucking money. It's not even a joke. It's like you're manifesting a monopoly, and your legacy is to manifest this wealth. So I feel like Taurus MCs have like the slowest come up, but when they make it, they're there to stay. But as a Scorpio sun, that's so different too, because now you have to like overcome the private facet of yourself and that square perfectly to your rising where you're a total diva and have to be a total diva even if you don't feel like being a total diva because you're Sun in Scorpio, but you have to tell people to kiss the ring because you're queen, like you have to. It is what it is. And yeah, congratulations, like Uranus on here, on your MC right now is going to really show you that you're about to be wealthy beyond your wildest beliefs.
I think it's a lot about just you being in a 10th house annual perfection year. Being that you're 33, your 10th house is incredibly important, right? So with Uranus, now sitting on your MC, really kind of changing things up in regards to how you identify out in the world, who you're partnering with professionally or personally. And the fact that you also have the North Node and the North Node eclipses going on through your 10th house, the Mercury retrograde through your 10th house, this is a very, very action-oriented time for you. It's a lot of you showing and really rethinking how you show up in the world. I'm loving this Mercury retrograde over your Jupiter. I feel like it's helping you become more authentic about the life that you want to create, the professional image that you want to create, really stepping into your creative sense of self, whether that's a new position, a job, a business, parenting. And it's challenging also because in the midst of these transits, you're having eclipses that are affecting your sun, right? Which is your chart ruler.
Right.
So you're moving out of the shadows, you're moving into the spotlight, and it's a lot of having to release and let go of like old power dynamics at home, and the need to feel like you just need to kind of like hide out, like hiding out in your shell. Like the 4th house Scorpio is really fixated on the past. And I would say it's not about the past, it's about the future. And if you're not feeling so stable or secure with your home dynamic, your emotional life, your private life, it's pouring all of that energy into your 10th and maybe taking on new relationships and new responsibilities out in the world. So you feel like you're really creating change. We have the same birthday, actually. So the Uranus in opposition to our sun is really livening things up. It's kind of like fireworks. It makes things very exciting.
Wow.
And being that this is happening for you, igniting squares in the cardinal in the angular houses, it's not just Uranus in your 10th. It's Uranus square your ascendant, Uranus square Saturn in the 7th, Uranus oppose your sun. These squares bring about real prominent changes in 4 areas of your life that all rely on each other. So it's not just going to be like, oh, go to work, figure it out. It's like, go to work, get into a relationship, move, focus on your personal life, be willing to relocate, So there's a lot going on. And this
Angular house, like you said, it's
life-changing. It's going to hit a climax, really, I think, for you in August.
Yeah. And then you manifest the liquidity of, because you're manifesting a home monopoly, like all this in your 10th house is why I'm wigging out with Leo risings, because
that's a lot of fixed squares that you're going through.
It's maintaining all this collective support or hatred against you manifesting a legacy that no one else has ever manifested. So
Yeah.
it's like a monopoly. And you're going to make that liquid Virgo season. And she's right. Like August is going to be that crucial midpoint.
Yeah, when you
Right.
have the fixed squares, like when planets go into Leo and they complete that, or you can start getting into the habit of like tracking when the moon goes through Leo, you're going to feel the wheel of your chart turn. I can only like just talk about like what I've seen in clients' lives, and like I have a really heavy 4th, 7th, 10th house placement. And when I was going through similar transits in the angular houses with Pluto and also with Saturn and Uranus, I like finally gave up and was like, I'm willing to change my job. I'm willing to move. Like, I don't know if I want to do this for a living anymore. A lot of things changed for me. And the willingness to let go of the past through the 4th house really materialized as brand new things in my 7th and my 10th. And like, I had a newfound love for what I was doing. I partnered with Mike. I started doing more collaborative work with other people. I got back on the internet. I met my husband. Like a lot of really good things came from being willing to like let go of the past. So if you're struggling with that and you're really focused on holding on to that, or feeling like you need to be dominated in a sense of what's going on in your personal life, throw it back into your 10th house and really see what transpires.
And the last thing I'll say personally is once every year you come into a personal and progressed sense of evolution.
Yeah.
And you went through that 2 days ago. So, you know, you're applying this evolution cycle to
the opposition to your sun.
Exactly. Yeah. And your hopes and wishes coming true. So it's a very fruitful period to coming into the new moon with Jupiter sextiling that, just like really for the first time ever seeing everything you've ever wanted, more so than ever, just materializing.
Yeah. Very exciting. Let us know, Vanessa. Keep us updated. Let us know what happens. Excited to see how this really kind of transpires for you. Sending you lots of good vibes. I know Leo Risings need it. Protect Leo Risings at all costs.
Oh, yeah. They're coming for y'all. They're coming for y'all.
Thank you, Follow Your Heart. We're going to add you into the queue. All right, so let's get to our next victim. We've got Crystal. Crystal, we have her July 6, 1991. That was at 4:33 p.m. in Kingston, New Jersey. She said, I have a second round job interview on June 2nd at 1 in White Plains, New York. I'm curious how my transits look for this day. Is there anything that I should be aware of and how the outcome may be for the second interview? My first was on May 16th, which was virtual. Any follow-up dates after the second where I may hear back for positive outcomes? It'd be great to know. A little side note, Candace had read my chart during her live readings in April when I first applied for the job because I was approached out of the blue for this. Here I am, my second interview. Cool. Awesome. So it looks like we're going to be looking at June 2nd at 1 p.m. and that's going to be Eastern, so that's going to be 10 a.m. here.
My sister was born, my youngest sister is July 6, 94. So that July 6th is special for me because it's exactly on my Jupiter in Chiron.
Okay, so let's see here what we need to know about the second interview, when she might hear back.
Well, we know it's squaring her natal MC.
Yeah, and she's also got Moon in her 8th. So really we're looking at whole sign, your 10th house is going to be Leo. So we want to see what's going on with your sun. And it's interesting that the moon is coming into conjunction with your sun. And Mercury is also getting ready to station. So Mercury is very strong. Mm-hmm. Mercury in a slight sextile to your sun. I think really for a lot of Scorpio risings, having...
Scorpio rising.
Yeah, having like whole sign.
So
obviously that's not the case for you, but whole sign, having planets going into your 6th, this can indicate like a new job coming in.
Oh yeah.
I have a feeling though, like I get the impression that it won't be until Mercury stations and starts actually moving forward and starts coming out of a square with your Mars that you may have an actual like proposal.
I have a working theory, by the way, that in every reading I've done, everyone who has this confirms it with me. But like when you have MC in a mutable sign, your legacy is to change the world, but you're not meant to keep a job. So like in Virgo especially, you're going to tell the upper management what they need to fix because it's trash, and then it's before you, after you, then it's on to the next job. If you want the job, you're gonna get it. Like that's so much magic associated with your career that the only way you won't get the job is because you didn't want it.
I think they're gonna want you though.
They're gonna want
I'm looking
you.
at Venus conjunct your moon, trine your MC.
And she has Pallas Athena on her MC, so
And
it's
Mercury
strategy
is
and wisdom.
stationing. The issue is that Mercury is coming into a square with your Mars and your Venus. So I kind of get the impression that there can be a sense of them saying, why would you be good for this position? What do you have to bring to the table, right? What was wrong with your last job? Like, don't mince words. Be very mindful of that. Like, especially with Mercury in a square to Saturn, of course, they're going to say, oh, it was nice talking to you. You know, we'll get back to you in the future. Like, there's still this, like, delay until Mercury comes out of the square with Saturn.
True, yeah.
So
I feel like there's already been a decision made. Like, they already know they probably want her. They just have to, like, finish the process. You know?
I'm assuming that when Mercury goes direct, which will be within a day or two, and Venus starts coming into a conjunction with Uranus, perhaps maybe somewhere around, I don't know. I don't think it'll be the square. Mm-hmm. I think, she said there's going to be another interview, but I don't think they really make the decision until closer to mid-June. When the moon crosses your ascendant, it comes into a square with your whole sign Leo, 10th house, and it opposes that. And it may come down to like you and another person. But all in all, I mean, something else I want you to consider is like so much of what Scorpio risings are learning this year is patience, and also like where are you going to be the best of service or the best help, because Mars and Jupiter going into your whole sign 6. For you, it's also like if you're going to give your energy and your time to something, it has to be something that's going to be creative and authentic. Like you need to actually feel like you have the ability.
Especially as a Scorpio rising.
Yeah, it's really important.
You actually just took the words out of what I was about to say, because she's born 91. So Saturn, your karma clashes with your career and legacy. And what the universe wants for you with your North Node in Cap is independence and autonomy. Mm-hmm. So like if this job will align with that, it trines with it, you have like a job hack. Like you can law of attraction that shit, right? But if you don't get the job, it's not because you weren't good enough, it's because it doesn't give you the autonomy that you're destined to have. And
you're also 30. So, I mean, you're in your 7th house annual perfection.
You've got your Saturn return.
Eclipses happening in your 7th. Yeah. You've got a Mercury retrograde happening in your 7th. It's more about people taking their time getting back to you. And you're a
Kundalini goddess, too. Pluto rising.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But also, like, there's going to be a Mercury retrograde in your 10th house later this year. So I kind of feel inclined to tell you, depending on where you kind of sit with this, like, it's about taking the position that you feel like is going to be best for you, right? And you might talk to them more and kind of determine whether or not it's a good fit for you. Of course, they're going to want you, but does it work for you? Saturn is still going to be opposing your Mars and your Venus. Mars is your chart ruler, so it has to be something that fits with your lifestyle, your home, and also your emotions. And I would say do not underestimate Saturn retrograding, coming back into an opposition with your Mars. Because that makes me feel like if it's too far from home, if you're not going to be able to have enough time to rest and recuperate, if you can't focus on your domestic zone, if it's going to take away from that, you won't participate, right? Because Saturn really wants you to focus on your whole sign 4th and also your 6th. So can you work from home? Can you work remotely? Is it a partially like digital schedule where you don't always have to go into an office? These are things that I would take into consideration, because you're going to keep getting hit with the Saturn-Uranus square, which wants you to innovate your schedule and not feel totally bound to a specific place.
Jupiter and Mars are in her 6th house of work ethic and environment too, in the Taurus region. So it's all about, once again, autonomy.
Yeah.
And that can seriously clash with the Virgo MC if the perception around what you're supposed to do. It's really weird because you're unlocking your Kundalini goddess. So you may, before you get this job, think you need it before it completes, and you realize you don't need it like you think you do. So you'll know, because if it works, you'll get it. It's a magical essence around it. But I'm just saying like if there's any weird Mercury retrograde miscommunication and like you don't get the job, it's because there's either something better or you don't really need it.
There's for sure going to be an offer, though, I think. I think it's just, I've seen a lot of Scorpio risings that have, Pluto in the 12th that have realized through the Uranus transits and the 6th that it has to fit into your daily routine, and you need to have spontaneity in your daily routine, or you need to be able to feel like you have freedom or control. Especially because Pluto in the 12th is so strong for your Scorpio rising, because you're like this kind of like, professional mastermind. Like you have the ability to kind of run a whole organization or kind of like get everything set up from behind the scenes and like run it. And I feel like if situations don't pan out for you with typical jobs, you're going to start seeing like either startups, or you're going to start seeing like new jobs that are showing up that you may not feel like you're making a lot of money in the front end, but because you're utilizing your Pluto talents, it may materialize as like a really significant union that really starts paying off. And also the Mercury retrograde in the fall, Mercury going retrograde in your 12th, making aspects to Pluto in your 2nd, there can be a sense of you getting in, and then in a couple months time renegotiating, like, okay, it's been 90 days, like, do I get a boost in my salary? Is this working for us? Are we going to work together, transact?
So like rapid acceleration too.
Yeah, big time. Scorpio risings for sure, I think, are really realizing that the power lies within, especially if it's Uranus in opposition to your Pluto, and just being able to have the control behind the scenes to run stuff. Yeah. Awesome chart. I mean, I would say look for right around the time that Mercury's out of a square with Saturn, but in a trine to Pluto, right around mid-June is when I'm feeling like they're going to be reaching back out to you, and you're probably going to be having another interview.
And Practice Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard, because Cancers and water signs are really good at law of attraction.
Let us know. Hopefully you get the job. We want to hear all about it. Now we've got
Capricorn.
Stephanie Ford. So June 27th, 1993, that's at 9:20 p.m. And question is, what's to come from my relationship in the next 6 months, or else 6 months of transits?
Well, what I find right.
Oh boy.
What I find amazing so far is that the first 3 people we've read so far are queens: Leo rising, Scorpio rising, and Aquarius rising. So first of all, Stephanie, you are high nobility. Okay, Leo risings tell people to kiss the ring. Scorpio risings give people a death stare. Aquarius risings have to laugh at people because you could be very caring, but you're still that bitch. You're the high queen, okay? And so dating you or relationships with you, you're going through a whole Saturn 2021 Jupiter evolution. This is 12-year cycles going in, congratulations. You're born in 93. Oh my God, you're about to come into your Saturn return too. So you see, listen, you're about to come into your power like never before. And there might be, some bum F boys that you may have let in your life, and you're realizing, I'm the high queen. Like, I can just decide to get angry and they'll start raining in this bitch. So like you're understanding that you can't lower yourself to really, this is literally like the Taurus North Node. Like, you can't really land your spaceship in fields that don't honor your value, but then you're still high queen. So like, you expect a lot of challenge in dating. By August, you're gonna see a lot of performers and players, but the perpetual, like, do you want to settle or do you not want to settle? So it's really weird that I'm saying that, because by Virgo season, you're going to see like a miraculous, I feel like, especially because, you got your sun in Cancer, like the Aquarius rising archetype with Saturn and then Jupiter and Neptune in your 2nd is manifesting miracles for you. So you'll have your options, but the first thing I want to say before I pass the mic right here is Aquarius rising, like, this is already supernatural. So like you're operating on a higher plane, and your MC is in Scorpio, so you're meant to have a cult following of certain sorts. Like you're meant to transform society. So people with intense aspects like this, I mean Pluto on the MC, it's harder to get into relationships because you really can't get with just anybody. especially if you're a fixed sign rising, like it's a little. You have Leo in the 7th, so your relationships are always going to be dramatic with Chiron here, So.
Oh man, okay.
And
so, couple things. Obviously, the sun rules your 7th house. So when there are significant solar transits happening, conjunctions, oppositions, anything like that, you're going to have changes in relationships, right? So the eclipses, I imagine, have been very colorful recently because we had a solar eclipse that took place in Taurus, which was very close to your IC. So it's bringing up all these emotions, all of these feelings, like you're kind of clearing and purging and like setting up a new home or a new emotional state of being. Then you had a full moon lunar eclipse that was in Scorpio that was very close to your Pluto and in opposition to your Venus, which was bringing out all these feelings you were having about relationships and possessiveness. It was in opposition to your Venus. Okay, the sun was in opposition to your Venus. And it was also in a square to Saturn. So there's this sense of you realizing, for me to fully love and commit to somebody in a very serious, practical way, like living together, buying property together, paying bills together, having a family, you are having to raise your standards, right? Saturn was really ringing true in that eclipse, saying like, I love you, but I need more. And it doesn't mean that I see the end of the road. It's just realizing that your needs are becoming so glaringly obvious that you can't settle. So I would imagine that eclipse that you had, which really highlighted your natal Pluto-Venus opposition, which is really intense, passionate, fixated love that you don't want to let go of, right? Know that, similar to what we were saying for a Leo rising chart, August is going to be like fucking like the Thunderdome, because then you're going to have planets come into your 7th house. It's going to oppose your ascendant, and you're going to see partners act up, and they might act very selfishly or they may act very dramatically. That is also going to be the turning point to show you whether or not you're going to go the distance. Now, here's the other thing that I would say. Whole sign, you have your South Node in Gemini in the 5th. Mars is going to go retrograde there. It's going to go back and forth over your natal South Node. So really the question becomes, am I really in love with this person? Can I keep having sex with them? Do they want to have children? Are they in it to win it? Are they just talking the talk? Are they walking the walk? And I got to tell you, boo-boo, okay, you have Saturn in the 1st house. So really up until your Saturn's return, there is this theme of Saturn and Pisces, being separate or separated from a person. And you may feel that, especially in the new year a little bit, because, you're going to experience the very first pass of your natal Saturn placement. And it's in opposition to Mars. Okay, so Mars in Virgo in the 7th is kind of like people being like, well, this isn't ready yet. We haven't completed our careers yet. We don't have enough money in the bank yet. There's some kind of conflict where other people are pushing back and they're nitpicking and making you feel like you're not good enough, or making you feel like you're being kept at a distance. And I would say, don't push this, both because you need to see how your Saturn return begins to play out, so you willingly take that time from other people if you realize that they're never going to be ready. And 2, Uranus has yet to come into conjunction with your Venus. And you are Uranus because you are an Aquarius rising. So there is some huge shifts that are going to be coming for you actually in the next year or 2, as Uranus conjuncts your Venus, as Jupiter conjuncts your Venus. I would say be weary of whatever's going on in your relationship now, because I think a lot of the Mars retrograde is going to be you going back and forth, and you could feel like other partners are going back on their word or going back on things that you agreed on. Or maybe you're going back and like reflecting on, whether or not this is just a romantic connection or if it has the potential to go for the long haul. A lot of it depends on their particular placements, but I would say with Uranus coming into conjunction with your Venus, not yet, boo-boo. When Saturn starts reaching 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees of Pisces, and when it's trining your sun, you will enter into a relationship, or you will go deeper in a relationship, which inevitably will be happening closer to, 2024, because Saturn will trine your sun, ruler of your 7th. And I'm wondering if this is also going to be about you being in a relationship where you feel comfortable enough to take a step back and be like, I'm fully immersed in it, or I'm going back to school and they support me, or I don't have to worry about them abandoning me. But it's going to play out through your Saturn return. Definitely get a Saturn return reading because you have a pretty significantly aspected Saturn.
0 degrees. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So deep. So iconic.
But watch the back and forth that you guys are going to do at the end of this year. And know that when Mars goes retrograde in your 5th, there can be a sense of like other people trying to communicate and reach out to you, or just the fact that you guys are going back and forth about what love is and what desires are. And I feel like that's going to play clear into the new year when your Saturn return begins. And you will inevitably, with Saturn opposed Mars, you may feel like, I'm done talking to you. We're just going around in circles. We're going round and round and round. We're not going anywhere. You're not hearing me. And you may have to either willingly take space, or you'll feel like somebody's not listening to you to the point where you have to cut them off.
So we know the 12th house is like the martyr, right? So another thing you have to accept is you are the advanced personality, and as that cosmic mother, Pluto's in your 12th. So like in every relationship, romantic or platonic, you're seeing the fullness of people's shadows that they're unconscious of. So like it's not something that's gonna go away. So it's like you're having to decide, is that, do you want that shadow or not? Because it's gonna come up as soon as you meet someone too. And thankfully Mercury can communicate to this, so you can be in a position to speak to this. But as sinister as Pluto is, honestly, it doesn't have to be a bad thing too. It's just something you want to really look at as far as acceptance and surrender. Because you're super psychic and you're the high priestess. So in a way, it's functional where you're healing this, you know, and you're kind of like bringing it to awareness, but in the sense where it's just evil gaslighting on your part, you know, just, I don't know, I feel like you're going to take the higher road.
There's also a sense of healing something in terms of like not feeling like you have to be validated by other people, right? Because Saturn rules, you know, Saturn technically rules your chart. It can also rule the 8th. Whole sign is in the 2nd. So it's this feeling of not basing your value based off of whether or not somebody wants you or commits to you or, you know, says you're mine, and like learning to kind of build yourself up regardless of whether or not people get involved, learning not to fight for people who aren't fighting for you, and like filling your own cup, right? That's kind of how I see that as well. Definitely get a Saturn return reading. That's what I would say. Everybody benefits from talking to somebody about the time of your lunar return. So 27, 28, because you're going to start seeing the writing on the wall around that age before your Saturn return. Like, I'm kicking myself because I knew at 27 everything that could have been panning out up until 29, and I fucking dealt with it for like 2.5 years. And I stayed in it knowing like, this will go away, it'll get better. And it just got, the Saturn return hit, and it fucking hit me like a freight train.
Wow.
And I knew that I could have been prepared, and I wasn't. Yeah, so don't wait. Somebody asked what astro program this is. It's called Ephemeris. Ephemeris for Mac. Stephanie, hopefully that's helpful. Let us know. Come back. Fill us in.
Soup.
We have now got Paula. Those of you guys who are getting in the queue and donating, thank you. We are answering questions in the order that they are received, so we appreciate your patience. After Paula, we've got Michelle, Madison, Melanie, Kayla. We've also got Rachel, Tyrone, Ellie, and I did not forget you. Follow your heart. I've got you too. Don't worry. Okay, so let's take a look. So Paula, hoping to focus on my Mars return. How can I best activate the power of my masculine action with all this Aries energy? Good question. Okay, so we've got you 4/12, 1996 in Colombia at 8.
MC and Leo, we have another queen. We have the pure queen, Scorpio Rising. So MC, please confirm this for me so we know your sun's in Aries. So okay, I've learned that as a Scorpio Rising, your MC is in Leo. So your legacy is to be a performer. You're meant to be seen, not like a Sag Rising, but you're meant to be an inspiration where people, the central role of your personality is meant to really kind of be the source of what in an environment is kind of looked up to, which means it's a fancy way of saying that there's so much drama around you. But I learned a lot of Scorpio risings don't like the spotlight. But so
they think they do, but then they get it and they don't like it.
Right, right. Yeah, thank you. So, but as an Aries sun, do you like it or do you not? I feel like it depends on the sun.
Oh my God, I'm like freaking out looking at this fucking Mars return. I'm like ready to rage. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Aries.
So, your Mars return is happening on June 14th, 2022.
96.
Okay, but if you look at this, you can't see it because I can't flip it. So I have the ascendant and the descendant labeled. When you look at a Mars return chart, if you see any particular conjunctions or aspects, or if you see a repetition of like the angles, it's really significant. So a couple things is, yeah, your natal Mars is in the 5th house. It's in Aries. It's a part of a stellium of stuff that you have in Aries. Saturn, Mars, South Node, Sun. Obviously, you're a natural performer. You like youthful energy, younger people, creative. You want to perform.
She just said that she inspires the kids she works with, and Leo is 12 to 22. So it's for kids. Like,
perfect.
Thank you for, perfect. Like,
but also, you have a Mars transit that is happening with Chiron. So you've got Chiron transiting your Mars, which means there's something going on where you're having like this breakthrough where through helping and assisting other people, you're healing your inner child.
Right,
like something that wasn't nurtured within you that needed to be nurtured that allows you to shine. Now your talent is shining through helping other people.
And evolving them with Jupiter. That's so wild.
And it's happening while the ascendant is in Taurus and the descendant is in Scorpio. So it's actually bringing that theme of 7th house into your 1st house, saying, what partnerships bring you value? Where are you learning to kind of understand and read yourself better and become more solid?
And she's new gen too, because she's born in 96. So we got Saturn 0 degrees Aries. The last person we read had 0 degrees Saturn Pisces. So like y'all are bridgers of the new generation, which is just amazing.
Let me tell you something though. The fact that this is happening while Jupiter is activating your natal Saturn.
Right.
And it's trining your Pluto.
Oh my God.
Is making you so acutely aware of the talent that you have and the gifts that you bring to this planet.
She has Sun and Mars.
It's preparing you, boo-boo. For you to have Jupiter activate your Saturn is like the holy mecca of getting all the cosmic goodies before your Saturn's return.
I know a Libra who had a Jupiter after the Saturn return, and she got, shout out to Monica, Jupiter went over her Saturn in Sag with Uranus. She got like an $86,000 bonus in her job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't have anything like that when it went over mine, but it was still like a bonus, kind of like, but you know, what's kind of amazing is, Paula, I've read a lot of charts, and I think Candace will agree with me. You're one of the most powerful Aries women.
Well, being that, you know, the sun's exalted in Aries, and for it to fall in the 5th house with Mars.
And its dignity, you know.
That's
Saturn power.
And then the trine of Pluto. I mean, this is a chart that's really going to mature.
You're an initiator for sure.
If you think you're creative now, once you get into your Saturn return and your Saturn conjunct your South Node and your Sun, even though Saturn doesn't, it's not as easy having Saturn in Aries because it feels like it's not good enough, right? Because Aries is the self.
And it's impatient.
Yeah, and it's just going to take a little bit more time to mature. And I think what's cool is like your work with younger people is helping you really evolve as a creative in general and kind of figure out, you know, what is the best way that I can come into my true creative sense of self, but also help other people. Like I've seen people like this that are like art therapists or people who use their art and their performance to kind of heal and like work through like blocks and inspire other people who are creatively blocked.
And she said she's ready to be a community leader, which is amazing because that is your destiny. North Node 11th house in Libra, like she's ready. That's amazing.
But it's also really about, you know, the sun rules your 10th house. So like significant transits, I would imagine, is like your Saturn return, Saturn transit, your chart ruler, Saturn on the sun. Honey, you're going to have this all within a 3-year period, right? So it's all about working with youth, all about being of service, all about
unlocking your creativity.
And the South Node. Yeah, the South Node stuff. And I think right now the pain of the Chiron opposition stem from the fact that you're not joining the group. It's about you right now.
Right.
And you're uncomfortable because you're realizing like, well, I'm really supposed to help others.
And you can feel like you're being held back.
But there's something to learn with some of the transits going through your 5th house, and the fact that it is about you right now, and it is about your creative projects, and like also you're like a perfectionist too, because that's whole sign 6th.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's
and health, wellness, balance, finding a life of balance, knowing which causes to join and who to join with, and like who wants to help themselves. Like you help inspire other people to overcome the odds. So I don't see it as being like just fixing other people's problems. It's like teaching them how to heal, and teaching them how to move through like crisis and like things like that, because very 6th house. But I think I've seen a lot of placements like this that talk a lot about working with youth. So keep doing that, at least up until your Saturn return. You're going to learn something there.
And it's uncomfortable for you, but they're going to see how you're not too concerned about being cool. You're more concerned about being authentic and original. And that'll be like the new cool. Yeah,
and you're coming into your reverse nodal return. So like, ironically, a lot of the next couple of years is actually really all about you. What you're creating, what you're doing, who you're collaborating with, and then once you have broken into your Saturn return, it's like, okay, what do I do with this? I'm giving you the okay for the next couple of years to be more so selfish in terms of what you're working on. But when you're asking about the Mars return, I mean, it's going to give you a Taurus rising chart. This is all in the 12th. So it's about what you're doing, what you're giving to service, how you're working through pain, frustration, anger, things that are kind of hovering around you. But be excited with the North Node transit. Be excited with the eclipses that are coming. Be excited with Jupiter there. It's going to kind of give you a real boost of optimism, I think, for the next 2 years just prior to your Saturn return.
Yeah. Shout out to the Pluto
and this is a Mars-Jupiter transit that we haven't seen since the 70s. We have not seen Mars and Jupiter in the sign of Aries conjunct this way since the 70s. So I keep telling people, it's like Nike, just do it. So this whole week is about getting off the couch, getting mobile, getting active, like initiating things and getting out of our comfort zone and being courageous. Very exciting. You have to let us know what happens. We want to hear all about it. We have got Michelle, who asked a question for Patrick. I want to make sure, And that was, let me pull this up. April 26, 1995 at 10 a.m. in Lindsay, California. The question is, should he look for a new job?
Damn.
Oh boy.
So Jupiter has gone over his MC. This is his chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when Neptune's over the MC, you can look like a straight bum, or you can look like you don't know what you're doing, but he's creating his dream job.
Look at that conjunction that's coming.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Oh, he's born 95?
Mars and Jupiter on his moon Venus.
Oh, yeah, Saturn return coming soon. And, like, damn, South Node on Sun? Like, Jesus. That's, It's interesting you're asking about a new job, because that's everything that's happening right now. But the unconventionality of this new career or new turn in direction, which could even come into mild fame, it's going to be hard to say, because if there's any opportunity to do illegal shit, he might have to do something illegal. He might have to do something that's not entirely legal, or both, and double dip. So
why are you saying that?
Neptune on his MC, as well as Uranus next to the Sun. Uranus and Neptune are going to draw you outside of the bounds of what's concerning legal. So here's an example. It's like, the work I'm doing really helps people. It changes their whole life. But I'm giving them like peyote and like illegal substances. I'm not, technically, they're better off of it, but it's illegal as fuck. So it's like, this is where with Neptune and Uranus, if you look too conventionally, if you're finding that this path doesn't work in career, that's why. But it's nothing that'll leave you in the dark. There's a fog over Pisces. It's really hard to actualize Pisces careers because it's a dream. But as someone who went through it myself as a Gemini sun, I didn't know how I was going to make this a full-time gig, but it made it happen, you know? So, you know, congratulations in advance, because as a Cancer rising, you're getting ready to, over the next 2 years, come into more success than you've ever had at such a young age.
Yeah, because of the North Node transit, the eclipses. But I mean,
that's the focus.
You know, the moon is the chart ruler here, and you have to feel like there's a sense of being very emotionally connected to what you're doing, or working with women, or working in a nurturing or a real estate or a cooking or a serving type of vibe. Having Saturn, Moon, and also Venus in the 10th house shows me working with older women, some kind of karma revolving around work, the need to kind of work for other people and kind of, you know, maybe getting compensated or bonused in some way. But Mars and Jupiter in the whole sign 10th, coming into conjunction with the moon, Venus.
It's happening now.
It's happening right now, like the next 2 weeks, like in the next couple of days. I mean, he should be looking right now. The other thing is he's in a fourth house annual perfection year. And with Mars, the ruler of the 10th, coming into conjunction with Venus, it makes me wonder, like, is he thinking about real estate? Does he want to start his own business? Does he need to do it from home? Does he bring family in to help him start the business? Does he need to be working in property management, buying, flipping, selling homes, something about that? And it's independent. So you say, should he be getting a job? I say, does he start a job that ends up materializing as like long-term generational wealth?
So I hate to interrupt, but like, she just stole my words again. Because I was going to say, like, if you're having trouble getting a job, you're probably supposed to be independent.
It's like Elon Musk.
You're a boss.
Have you seen that interview where they asked him, like, why he got into doing what he's doing? And he said that he went to, like, various, like, internet startups, like, in the early 2000s trying to get a job, and nobody would give him a job. So he was like, fuck it, I'm going to start my own business.
Wow.
20 years later, he's the richest man on the planet,
Damn.
right? Although Tesla's taking a hit right now, but he's still the richest man on the planet.
Holy crap.
If you can't find it, fucking build it. Like, go and do it, because this might be a year that you initiate something that you just start, but you might find out 7 or 14 years from now, it's going to be this thing that you're like, this is my livelihood.
And everything you said is like the Aries energy that's in the beginning. The start of it will not look extravagant.
And it's a conjunction too, so it's the very
it's the
beginning.
very beginning,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be, like you said, the biggest thing ever. It may just not look like
Have you had major transits to your 10th house Lord that built your career?
When I met you, and the year that I never had to work a full-time job again, or I made this full-time, was 2017, and that was when the South Node was like coming out of Pisces into Aquarius into my 10th.
When I had Jupiter in my 10th house, when I had Jupiter on my moon, which is also my 10th house ruler, when I had Jupiter on my moon, I started taking clients. When I had Uranus conjunct my moon, I started working for Astrology.
Wow.
When I had Saturn sextile my moon right now, so through partnerships, I'm collaborating and I'm creative and I'm seeing expansion. Like, point blank, just trust me on this. Pass this message along to him. Tell him to get started. He doesn't have to figure out the end goal.
No.
He just needs
to
initiate
believe with
it.
Neptune too.
Yeah.
And initiate it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And now with Neptune on it, it's gonna be challenging because of the night and day, but if people don't laugh at his dreams, they're not big enough. Like, they have to be like beyond ambitious.
I know that a lot of this is getting worked out until he's about 32 years old, because he does have Saturn in the same house as his moon and his Venus. So there is a sense of maturing that's going to come around 32 when he really goes deeper, and maybe he like makes it like even more so legitimate, or maybe he then, you know, takes like the next few steps of like really expanding his business in general and like who he brings and gets involved with. Something about working with clothing, women, family, real estate, and he needs to be the one to go and spearhead it, because, well, it's Aries.
And yeah, like especially with beauty, Kylie Jenner has Venus in the 10th, and she's made near $1 billion off of cosmetic lines.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that just made me take Venus in the 10th seriously. Like that's like holy crap.
Don't sleep on that Venus in the 10th. Venus in
No.
Cap too. Definitely we can see that with that placement as well. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Patrick. That was very nice for Michelle to donate that. So guys, we're gonna call last call pretty soon. We got a number of people that we still have to get through. So please do not forget, send us your time, date, and location and ask us your question in regards to either a natal aspect or a transit. We've got on deck now Madison, Melanie, Paula. No, we already got Paula. Madison, Melanie, Kayla, Rachel, Tyrone, Ellie, Michelle again, and we have...
Follow your heart.
We need to get Follow Your Heart. So actually, let's take Follow Your Heart, and then we'll bop on back. I gotta create one for this.
I'll be right back. We'll take a bathroom break.
That's fine. Let me plug this in. 586. And that was at 3:40 p.m. Here we go. And that was in Philadelphia. Yeah, those of you guys who want to learn more about like reading charts and stuff, you guys can follow my channel. So if you guys follow my my YouTube, Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology, Saturday nights I do astrology readings like this, or I do tarot. And I'm coming out with a new beginner's astrology course. So if you guys want to learn more about how to read charts, that's going to be coming out soon in the next month. It's going to be on my website. It's going to be like over 14 hours of like lecture talking about all the placements in the introduction to beginner's astrology. Thanks, Austin. What's up, Spacebug? Hi, Zena. Thank you. We got you. Okay, so just confirming for Follow Your Heart, we have you here 3:40 p.m. in Philly, February 5th, 1986. That gives you a Cancer rising, Sun in Aquarius, and Moon in Capricorn. Let me pull up your question here. What am I supposed to be doing? I'm out with an injury to my hip and back. Just some insight with this transit. Well, until Mike comes back, I'll talk about your chart. He'll be here in just a second. I hear him. Here he is. What are you supposed to be doing?
This is what she asked.
Yeah, so she's got a
Aries.
Cancer rising and a Sun in Aquarius, but she said she's out with an injury.
Chiron on the MC, wow.
Saturn's also dancing around her Jupiter.
Well, she asked, what is she supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Well, MC Aries is whatever the fuck you want. And it's, it's very challenging. North Node Aries and MC Aries is challenging because you're daunted with the whole fact that your whole success is defined around what the fuck you want to do.
But what about the fact that
And who you
Saturn
are.
is like conjunct Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter? So it's taking into consideration thoughts and ideas, inner emotions, and the need to heal and like really think about what you're setting up for your goals long term.
Boundaries and other people's resources.
There's something, and it like Saturn can be a real bitch when it's going through a stellium like this. It is not easy, especially when you have all those planets in close proximity to each other, which is highlighting your 7th house of partnership and your 8th house of other people's resources. In a way, I kind of feel inclined to tell you whatever's happening in regards to money and resources, whether this is like you have to get a surgery and, you know, insurance pays for it, and then you also get some kind of like disability. You're like, well, what do I do with this? Well, the money that's coming in, if that's what you're gaining from other people, Venus, Jupiter in the 8th, is to help give you the resources to buy time and figure out what needs to change and transform, right? by the same token, I will tell you that money's not going to last forever. That support's not going to last forever. So I don't know if it's an insurance claim, if it's a wealthy family member, if it's an inheritance.
It's definitely self-employment and investments. And see, with Saturn here, it could be securing long-term. But it's definitely opening up trust from other people's resources.
Learning how to receive.
Yeah.
Help.
And knowledge, so online.
Yeah, it could be knowledge, but it can just be support in general and like redefining relationships.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Right? Like not just looking at all relationships as like black and white, like it's either romantic or it's nothing. It's like how your life can be enriched through platonic relationships and as well, and like redefining values and like what other people give you that's owed to you. Like I'm not saying that in like a judgmental like, oh, like everybody owes me something, but all of these placements in your chart really signify that like you've accumulated some kind of good karma.
And she's done the work because past the 7th house. So the next 2 years for you is career success. Unavoidable. Like the North Node's going through your 11th and 10th. You can't escape this career success. And it's something new that you may not be used to because all that 8th house is an influx of support or investment of knowledge from other people.
Well, it's also giving you the opportunity to study. So what are you studying? You're studying psychology, therapy, metaphysics, occultism, astrology. You're studying something that is going to, in turn, you're going to give that knowledge back to other people. There's a wealth of information you're receiving, whether it's through the experience that you're having that's triggering you, you know, energetically. I think you're being given a lot of support from the universe right now, and it might kind of feel like you're going through like a dark night of the soul. But whatever you're learning and experiencing, you're then in turn going to get back to the collective. And it's going to be something that is going to help you feel supported, right?
And you just went through your rising star year with Jupiter going through your 9th. So now that it's an Aries season, this is bigger, better, and bolder. You're quintessentially taking things to the next level. But the tricky thing with Aries is it's new. It's nothing that you're used to. So
Pluto's also trying to like, I mean, it's just hanging out on your 7th house cusp. And now it's retrograding. So it's bringing up this theme also of like change and transform and level up and look for more powerful unions, whether it's like professionally, clients, romantic relationships. And it's sextiling your natal Mars and your Saturn. So it's also trying to get you to open up to like the possibility of aligning with other people and like the power in that union, business-wise, romantically, whatever. So if you have put off certain things in your personal life, if you have put an overemphasis on working and, you know, just casually dating, then it like levels up and it's like, long-term commitment and the possibility there and how that also leads to like bigger power moves out in the world.
You also have to accept the fact that you're a supernatural alien freak, and so like you are not allowed to be normal. And your moon square, your Neptune moon squares your career too. So you just read people. So like you literally have what I have, but at the advanced level. So like you know who people are.
But it trines it trines the North Node.
Okay, so it does align with that.
They're supposed to be doing some kind of intuitive work,
that hasn't been done before, and it's controversial as if because people don't know you're an alien, like they don't know that you're not from here.
She said I left the Virgo.
Ooh.
I mean, Pluto retrograde and also all the other stuff that I feel that would have happened inevitably because Pluto in your 7th house of like. Relationships are threatening your ability to really kind of go the distance. They're going to get kicked to the curb. And you're going to see Pluto square the nodes over the next couple of years. So toxic relationships cannot be tolerated under any
but she's
circumstance.
having a nodal return too.
Yeah.
So this is just like a renewal of mission and all that.
This is exciting stuff. I mean, when you're in the midst of Saturn going through a stellium, it's like fucking hellfire. Because you're getting it from all angles. But you know, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So I think that you've got that kind of working in your favor, that all those conjunctions you just want to think of as like power ups. So what you're learning about crisis through your life right now, what you're learning about other people in this exchange, maybe you're going to find that like, you know, some of the setbacks have opened you up and made it easier for you to relate to others. So there in turn, you can help other people when they're in crisis. Yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. I know it's difficult, but yeah, very good stuff. I mean, you know, Jupiter and your nodal return happening in the 10th, there are big career things happening for you in this next year. You really want to pay attention. doing it all with art. That's wonderful. All right, so we've got, let's see, did that? So now we've got Kayla. Let me add her. And we're going to call last call. Thank you, Junior. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate your donation. Let me plug in. Where is Kayla? 215.87.
What do you feel about asking people to vote if they want tarot or astrology for the week, and then based on what they choose, we'll do that?
We can do that.
So, because it looks like y'all might want astrology readings more than tarot. Like, this is interesting.
Minnesota. What? There we go. All right. So Kayla is back. I'm glad we caught you. Sorry, I know we've missed each other a couple times. 12:15:87, 9:31 p.m.
97 or 87? Ooh, okay.
87.
Word. Rugged.
She says, my question is, I've been getting a lot of negative energy from my son's dad and partner, and some truth came to light, and I have to stand up for him. Good news, please.
She has to what?
She said that she has been having issues with her baby daddy and also with her partner, and some stuff came to light. And she needs to know, she said she had to stand up for him. Good news, please.
Okay.
So issues with son's dad and her partner. It's very...
Yeah, Chiron in the 7th, yeah.
Well, it's Pluto square her Mars.
It's going to get ugly before it gets good, so it's like you're feeling the shot, and it'll hurt, and then you'll realize why things work out the way they do. We know you have your MC in Cancer, so MC in Cancer kind of sucks, because, like, you have to constantly bear your feeling. Like, people have to see how you feel, and thankfully you have a balanced personality, but Lilith is just all controversial for no reason, so, you know... Chiron in Gemini is going to influence how people are just effortlessly triggered by everything you say, as if what you're saying is more crazy than it is, because you have this wild third house stellium, and you're very colorful with the way you just bluntly let people know how stupid they are. Oh my gosh, Virgo Moon, so you feel all the details. But I mean, yeah, I'm going to just be real. You're a 26-degree Aquarius ninja with the Virgo Moon. So you know more than us what's going to happen. I just think you might be over-exaggerating and over-analyzing how intense and extreme the collapse. Because, like, this 7th house Aries is going to really bring to a head every relationship issue. But through that, you're going to break through because you're the one who has the highest knowledge. I'm willing to bet no one else has, like, 26, like, at that level of awareness.
But
so.
Saturn's on her sun right now, so you're going to have issues with men.
Right.
You're going to have issues that you're working through in relations to either lovers, children, or father figures.
Right.
You've got Venus that's going through your 7th house, and you're ruled by Venus, and Venus is not doing so hot in Aries. I don't know about you. I'm a Libra rising. The last, like, 48 hours, I've been, like, raising hell with everybody. I have not been nice. And I have noticed it because Mars is there. So I think it's both Mars going into the 7th, which makes Libra risings more confrontational. But Venus conjunct your Mars the last 2 days is like fighting for what you love or what you have to protect or stand up for. And unfortunately, Venus is coming into a square with Pluto. So it's kind of like being like, we have to air this out, so we're clearing out the past.
Something came up,
and secrets need to come out that are going to help us, like, unite. And then you're also getting ready to have your Mars return pretty soon. So it's like, Kayla, I have to tell you, what you want to do is you want to, like, really stand up for and protect what you love. Pay attention when Mars comes in conjunction with Chiron around mid-June, the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Is this Kayla? Mm-hmm. Okay, I was about to say. Like,
and then when you have your Mars return around June 29th, which is going to be in a square to Pluto, so there's still some friction going on with family or, like, relationships and who you're living with or conflict between men from the past. But it's sextiling Saturn, so it's like you're showing your son how to be a stand-up guy. You're protecting your heart. You're focusing on, you know, the love that you can give. And it's not that you're being conditional, but you're also recognizing like where you've been too lenient and it's like hurt you. And you're no longer willing to allow those dynamics to kind of play out. Like old patterns die hard with some of these squares that are going on in your life right now.
And this is while the new moon's on your MC. So this is your victory arc. And, you know, you have a lot of complex transits. Like Venus is over your Mars, but you have Neptune over and opposite your moon on your Jupiter. So like you want to also acknowledge and accept that you have the higher analysis and awareness of the situation, and it's not you really being a victim to anything, but knowing that you'll have the foresight to direct it. I guess what I'm saying is basically don't rest too much. Not that you would, but or as a Libra rising, you might, right? Compromise too much with other people. But
with the Mars Jupiter. There are a lot of with the Mars Jupiter conjunction setting up in Libra rising. Yeah,
you got to take initiative.
They're just like cutting things down, or like basically being like,
make
this is my philosophy
people too, in a certain way.
Yeah,
because y'all see it like before anyone else.
It's fierce. It has not been easy for me the last couple of days. It's a lot of having to tell people what's up and needing to learn to differentiate just being heated and kind of a little tense versus like saying things that need to be said. Maybe that friction is coming from like holding back.
Yeah.
Right?
True that. Very true.
Hopefully this is helpful. What's up, Starry Ari? Thank you for your generous donation. We appreciate you. Guys, we are closing the readings for the evening. If you're already in the queue, we've got you. Don't worry. Rachel, Tyrone, Ellie, Michelle, Zena, Austin, Jeffrey. We've also got Junior or JR. And also, thank you guys so much for your donations. Really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and also give us a comment if you don't mind coming back, commenting. You can share this also if you guys are active on astrology forums and stuff. We appreciate it. Who else do we have here? Rachel. Do we have her here? I think we went through everybody.
No way.
So let me add Rachel. 5/16/89. 3:16 p.m. And that was in Duarte. Okay. Another Libra rising. She says, how will things fall into place for me concerning love and romantic relationships? Thank you.
I love how relevant that is because all of that is happening now. Touring her ninth house. 89-year GOAT squad. MC Cancer again. So, you know, the first question you want to ask, which is going to sound a little superficial, is who do you really want to be seen around? Because this is kind of more centered around the image of what's occurring, while simultaneously, unbeknownst to you, you're establishing long-term relationships with all this 8th house eclipse energy. That oddly enough, it's gonna be a lot of. The image I have is like you could be dating someone, but you don't know that you might get closer to their friend.
Sorry, I just want to say something really quick. We've got Madison and Melanie. We've got you guys. Don't worry. I'm coming back around too. We're kind of bopping around. We'll get you guys next. Go ahead.
And then Paul. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, really, just like being free with how things look now, knowing that they may twist a little bit later, because there's going to be a lot of romance and options and opportunities that open up for you, but the way they look now post Neptune square is not how it's going to look. And it doesn't have to have exactly like this, right? But it's like you're dating someone, but you don't know you're meant to get with that person's best friend, or vice versa. And it doesn't have to play out messy like that either, but just kind of being open. Like, you wouldn't get to there if you didn't date that person. So
Also, I just have to say the fact that you've got placements in your 4th and your 10th that relate to your 7th, because Mars rules your 7th, it's a little challenging. Relationships are challenging, right? Because you have that opposition. So because you have Mars in opposition to like Vesta and Neptune, there's this sense of the more that you're following your professional life or your calling, the more relationships are going to show up.
yeah.
Just because Jupiter's going into your 7th doesn't naturally automatically mean that it's going to be like the year that you meet your person. It could. It could also happen in the 8th. It could also happen when you have a positive transit to your Jupiter. So the next couple of years, your Mars, the next couple of years are big in the relationship sense. I think you want to look at what's happening right now as like a clean break from the past and thinking and communicating differently about relationships. Like, Mars is about cutting. So being that Mars and Jupiter are going into the 3rd house, do you need to stop thinking, texting, stalking, talking to people from the past? That's number 1. Because for you to be able to enter into the new cycle with relationships, you have to cut yourself off from past people. You can't be talking to or following up with them. If people don't know what they want, let them go. Mars rules your 7th and it's in your 10th, which means the person who you're going to show up and like be with is going to be somebody who's going to pursue you, but in a nurturing way. They're going to want to nurture what you're doing for a living. They're going to want to support what you're doing in terms of your career. They're also going to be very emotionally driven, revolving around Cancer 10th house topics. Like, are we buying a home? Are we getting married? Are we building a house together? Are we planning our future? Are we having a family? These are things that are really sensitive topics for you, because they're big question marks, I would assume, with all the oppositions between your 10th and your 1st with the square to the moon. Because there's always been this sense of like, well, do I have to do it on my own? Do I have to do it by myself? So what I would say is, number 1, follow your intuitive direction with what your purpose in life is, whether it's starting a new job, launching a business, going back to school, nurturing something, because that person, you're either going to meet them in that way, because Mars is in your 10th, or when you're getting on the path of what your purpose is, that person comes in and says, hey, I'll help you build it, right? Mars in the 10th. Got to cut and sever with the past. You've got eclipses happening around your sun, which is making you acutely aware of your personal goals. I feel like all of the transits through your 7th house and the conjunction even to your vertex. I'm also 0 degrees Libra rising.
Right.
So I have the same vertex. And with Jupiter conjunct vertex, people are going to start showing up. And it's not just romantic partners, although for a single woman, Jupiter could be a husband. It could be business partners, people who want to collaborate with you, who may give you that opportunity to be more seen by someone who would come in and kind of swoop you up.
Do you know when that happened for me? When I met Lauren and you, and like, I moved to Vegas and all that. That's crazy.
Fated people come that are a part of your destiny when you see conjunctions to your vertex through squares, oppositions, and conjunctions. So Jupiter is the whole sign ruler of your 3rd. You don't see it because it's intercepted. So you can't tell where they're coming from. They're also going to be culturally diverse and different. They're going to be from different places and different cultures. They might live somewhere else. You have Venus, Jupiter in your 9th. So you're okay with that. Mars is going to go retrograde over your planets in Gemini later this fall, which is going to bring somebody back that's at a distance. And it's going to teach you a lot about diversity and options and choices. If anything, you may have more than one person.
Yeah, I'm picking that up too.
But you're going to realize that the real partnership that's going to stick is going to be somebody who you resonate with when you fall in love with their beliefs or their culture or where they're from. Or maybe you see a second chance at love later this year. So I think something like that can happen with the Mars retrograde. But the big year, so to say, is definitely here because you were born in 89, so now you're in a 10th house year. So actually squares to your Mars, like Jupiter and Mars squaring your Mars, when you see Venus conjunct your Mars, that's probably going to be when somebody shows up. It could be your Venus return as well. And
everything is just beginning in relationships with that Aries stellium. And
it's going to start at the end of June, but really pay attention because Mars and Venus is a conjunction. End of July. When Venus is conjunct your Mars and when Jupiter is squaring your Mars, and it's pushing you to get out there and meet people who are looking to kind of facilitate those 10th house Cancer things.
And you have to be open to what's outside your comfort zone because it's not going to be at all what might be your type, but that will be what fulfills you. And you got the sauce, my friend. You got the second house Scorpio.
Oh my God, all that cardinal squares, you're getting activated with Jupiter.
Right,
you're going to be
forcefully.
like, ah!
It's all going to be in your face, and you're using your sauce to establish this self-employment and to deal with people as the queen, as a natural queen. So as an artist too. So congratulations. It's interesting because like you have the Scorpio second house and you're talking to someone who's opposite in the 8th. So
Yeah.
That's really dope.
Yeah. Hey, Catherine, how's it going? Let us know what happens, Rachel. Let us know what happens. I see a lot of like similar placements in my chart as yours, and whenever I have those cardinal squares, my whole life changes. And like with Mars going into your 7th, let other people chase you, okay? Even if they live in other places. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so we got to back up a little bit because we got to go back and we got to talk to Madison and Melanie. I did not forget you. In fact, I've got you here. Madison.
97.
October 27th, 97, 1:32 p.m.
The heaven to earth generation.
She says, how to cope with Neptune opposite my moon. Any other transit that you think would be helpful to know about?
Yeah.
Neptune in opposition to your moon. Okay, so transit Neptune in opposition to your moon. It has been with Jupiter. Well,
What was your question?
how does she cope with Neptune in opposition to her moon currently?
Oh, well, you'll definitely may feel lost for a majority of the time. And that would presume that you have moon in Virgo. Jesus Christ. Oh, you have moon on your north node too.
It's complex though, because it's
Juno
not just Neptune in
and
opposition to your moon. It's in a square to your Mars and your Venus. So it's a mutable T-square.
And you have MC. Your legacy is to be seen, my friend, and to change the whole world on some very like unconventional, erotic God of War shit. So Pluto and Mars on the MC, you're one of the beacons of the new generation, and it's going to be really hard for you to be accepted at first because we're still in the old world, and you have to be new world before we're in the new world. And your destiny is to help bring the heaven on earth, so you're very sensitive to feeling that your moon is going to analyze details that it needs that Neptune will not ever give it. So you have to be okay with feeling lost, but as lost as you feel, accepting that you're perfect and you're not lost.
I think with Neptune in an opposition, because whole sign it's in your 2nd, I'm just going to talk about it that way because it's easier.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the moon's in your 7th. That's about relating to other people, but whole sign, Neptune in your 2nd house in opposition to the moon is like, you know, where is my value lie? Am I making money in a way, or am I building or creating something that feels like it's supporting and helping other people and it's in alignment? Sometimes when Neptune opposes your moon in the 7th, I'm wondering, is it bringing up unhealthy emotional patterns, or are you dealing with issues where you're avoiding emotionally connecting with other people and like just wanting to kind of like hide or finding it hard to emotionally relate? So you can kind of go rogue, or you can kind of disappear in a way, and you can use like bad emotional habits as a crutch. You can use your schedule as a crutch for not wanting to relate. And there's this mirror effect whenever you see opposition sometimes, especially with Neptune, that you're like, oh my God, they're avoiding me. They're not communicating well with me. Like, why are they not, discussing things with me? Why can't I get through to them? When in reality, there's also some similarities where you may not be speaking out, saying the things that you need to say. So you could go deeper into relationship with other people. You might be holding back and you might be emotionally avoidant because you don't feel secure. But you're not going to get that security unless you speak up and you say something. Once again, it's very complex because it's also in a square with your Mars and your Venus. So if we look at this from a whole sign perspective, because Mars rules obviously your career, Venus rules your home, Neptune making that opposition to your moon is like, oh my God, what's going on financially? Like, can I afford my cost of living? Do I still like my job? Like, where is my sense of security coming from? And you need to be careful because transit Neptune in opposition to your moon or natal Neptune opposition to the moon can be people who either emotionally disassociate or they fall into patterns of drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
So there's something about this that makes me feel like there's a way to use the Neptune square to make art, to work with art, work with liquids, work with food, to be able to move through this. And Neptune square is definitely it wants to open you up and make you more sensitive and more aware of the fact that you're a very passionate person.
Mm-hmm. She's also Jupiter ascending.
With Mars and Venus conjunct too,
Yeah.
I think there's something...
She's meant to show that to the collective.
Yeah.
Inspire wildness
Yeah.
and creativity.
And Moon opposed Neptune can make you kind of feel like depressed sometimes, or like feeling isolated.
And misunderstood.
But unfortunately, and this is the case for like any really good artist, right? Or like poet, musician, whatever. Without heartbreak, how do you create? Right. If you're always living that high octave, everything's great, everything's amazing, everything comes together, you're going to lose that sense of juice of feeling the highs and the lows and being able to be really passionate and creating something. So what's going on is people are being kept at a distance from you right now. You're a little curious or questioning where your resources come from, and you might be feeling like there's a lot changing, not just with your career, but there's a lot changing also with like friendships and associations, and kind of feeling like you don't have a lot of security from certain friendships right now. So you're like, well, where does that come from? It's not coming from friends. It's not coming from partners. It has to come from you.
You don't even know yet, like you're a whole ruler and dictator with a cult following. You have a cult following that will worship you endlessly. But Pluto is just awakening your Neptune, and it hasn't gone over your rising yet. So you haven't even contemplated like the concept of having slaves. But it's just going to open up to you.
And you have Sun, Chiron, Mercury all in Scorpio. I'm wondering, like, you know, has the Uranus opposition the last couple of years materialized as you realizing through astrology and learning about astrology, like how to heal? And how it really kind of shapes what your belief systems are. And to me, it seems like it's been very therapeutic. I don't know. I'm just now starting to go through Uranus in opposition to my Sun and my Mercury, and it's making me feel fucking crazy. It makes me feel crazy.
Jupiter's chapter 3 for you, so you're just beginning this new cycle. So you're not really supposed to know that quick. It's still in the beginning. So you want to take your time with it. And oh my gosh, you're so fucking psychic and powerful. So, yeah, congratulations in advance.
Pluto on the MC. Just don't disassociate, you know? If you're feeling like somebody is showing you a side of themselves, it's really important for you to kind of like shift gears and like kind of ask yourself, like, you know, how can I better relate to them? Am I not saying what I need to say, or am I just kind of, you know, checking out?
Yeah.
You know? Hopefully that's helpful. I'm excited to see what materializes for you, and I'm also really excited to see all these planets go into Aries and really start kind of activating all of your Sag, where you're starting to build your self-esteem up and find your personal talents and find ways to make lemonade and be able to bring in resources from that. Very exciting. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Madison. Now we've got Melanie. And Melanie is February 28th. 1985, 9:27 a.m., Dallas, Texas. Hey guys, thank you so much. I'm open to tell me what I need to know about this transit.
Okay.
Oh, girl, what is this transit that she's talking about?
MC and Capricorn.
Ooh, let Mars and Venus in Aries in the 12th.
Okay, so that's very sensitive for me. Are you Taurus rising?
Yeah.
Natural queen. Okay, so this is very sensitive to me because when Jupiter was going through my 12th house, I felt lost. Like I'm starting to feel this again now, where it's like, what direction do I take what I'm doing, right? But last time I felt lost. Like I thought
People found you.
Right, I thought I was going to be a theologian. I did not know I was going to be the peace dealer. I didn't even know what like a horoscope was. So like, this is a very magical period for you, Melanie. Like, your whole life is about to go crazy. You have Uranus over your rising. So like, your supernatural 85 powers have already downloaded because you're an ascended Pisces master. And these mortals are starting to catch on. But like, congratulations. I really want you to see this as you've completed all the hard part, and like you're getting ready to switch an automatic function in how you
and she has Saturn square the nodes right now in your whole sign 10th, but it's in your 11th. It's like
North Node Taurus. Oh my God.
You're having first of all, nodal return
you're
high.
Your royalty.
Well, you're also investing more in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and your voice and
so
like, you know, what you're able to kind of move into, finding comfort. But Saturn square the nodes,
away from returning.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
You're in your nodal return. What are you learning about yourself and your own personal pleasure and the need to... I mean, it's so funny because Venus is the ruler. So you have like this Venus return that's been setting up and Mars is coming and it feels like very romantic and passionate and like doing a lot of work in like the astral realms.
You secretive.
Shamanic
though.
stuff.
You're super secretive. And I think
I like that Mars, Venus, Lilith.
Exactly.
That is
That's taboo as fuck.
That is super kinky.
So Taurus rising is the queen. The way you want to see that is like Taurus rising is the natural queen, and Taurus is very reserved. So if you knew like Queen Elizabeth was freaky AF, like you would look at her so different. So she keeps it secret.
I want to know: are you a dominatrix? Seriously,
Thin
are you a dominatrix?
Right.
You know how much money you could make just grinding your heels
There's a lot of
into a
fulfillment
man's
coming
face?
into that.
Like,
oh my goodness.
with that Mars and Venus and Aries.
Yo.
Like, I feel like there's something really magical setting up where you're realizing it's not about other people, it's about you. And if you want to...
And Juno's opposite it too in Libra.
Oh, man.
That's very Madame energy.
In the vertex. There's always like this star-crossed lovers feel...
Jupiter, yeah.
I just really love the fact that it's all conjunct in Aries. I feel like your power color is red.
And then her MC's in Capricorn, so like, whereas the MC in Aries is like your coffee shop, you're like the CEO of Starbucks, but you're straight, your legacy is greatness. And Pluto's awakening your legacy. So this is tricky because...
I have a dark side.
I have a dark side. I'm not, but right, like, it's tricky because that squares is what you hide in the 12th, and you have to really reclaim that private individuality. A lot of people don't know Tauruses have secret identities.
Yeah.
Aries, so you know we could be very reckless and restless. But okay. I'm so sorry. I have to say this. It's a new technique. I realized the ruler of your 12th is in your 12th, so you're an ultimate legend. You have ultimate power, and that's why it's that precision. 19 degrees is very legendary. So you're also getting ready to evolve and unlock this power. And in Aries, it's the solo path where you're going to do things individually that no one will ever do and may even know you did. So kudos, congratulations.
I would also just say, like, the fact that you're having your nodal return and you have the North Node conjunct Ceres. Ceres has this very nurturing, loving, healing, maternal sense. In Taurus, it's about feeding or flowers or gardening or cooking. But Ceres has a dark side, and Ceres is about separation, taking away, isolation, loss, grieving, depression. It's how the Greeks and the Romans described the seasons, the story of like Persephone and being taken under. So I would say there's a lot of like what you lose right now and what you gain. And so I would say money-wise, feeling-wise, person, I can see the eclipses in your 7th house. You have to let certain people go, certain relationships go, which is going to bring up intense moods and feelings of grief. But you know what the heart mourns over, the spirit rejoices. So even though you have to make some really difficult decisions to cut certain people loose, it's going to be so good for your physical body. It's going to be so good for your security.
Surrender.
It's going to be, it's just really you're going to have a lot of moods that come with that. And I would say it's all about how you're looking at loss, how you're looking at loss.
And the closer you come into your Mars return, the more you'll feel this ultimate power return on itself. And then the nodes will go through it. So like you're getting, and you remember you're a Pisces sun with this. So you're coming at this from behind the veil, ascended, and you're about to manifest some like supernatural cheat codes that will have you transcend how you do stuff for real. And then like your feature, I'm not gonna say anything more. But Pisces, no comment. But it's just like wow.
All right, so let's get over. I want to touch on JR really quick. Thank you guys for your patience. It takes us a little bit longer to do this, but we appreciate it. 2/3/1986.
86. That's Saturn
66.
and Uranus and Sagittarius.
Is it AM or PM, Junior? We just need to know.
Anything with
AM
love
or
or
PM?
destiny.
Vancouver.
It's probably AM since he did 06, but it could be PM.
Oh, yeah, it could be, huh?
People do put 06 and still it'd be PM though, so. Anything with love and destiny right now. Bad. Oh, nice.
Did I make it? Oh, I made it PM. Hold on, it needs to be AM. I'm pretty sure it's AM. Good call on that.
No worries.
Okay, I'll pull up, see if he said anything. So, love and destiny.
AM, alright, cool. So
AM, cool, got it.
So his MC is Scorpio with Pluto in the same sign. So you're gonna have a call following. There's that.
Who was it that had that same stellium?
Someone else did too, yeah.
Yeah, who is that? Is it Stephanie?
I think it was.
We need to hook you guys up. You guys are each other's love and destiny because it's on the 8th.
Yeah.
That's such a cool...
Parallel.
Yeah.
And then the North Node eclipse in your 5th is using the resources of people who support you so you manifest independent success, but this is also love and destiny. It's actually everything he asked.
Well, love and destiny, but I mean, it's your whole sign second, but it's in your first. Like, you are the person you've been waiting for.
That too.
It's supposed to be you.
Yeah.
It's realizing, like, oh, I'm the one. Nobody's going to show up. It's about me. And then
you reflect that with someone who shows up as you like live that.
I'm loving Jupiter and Mars trine your moon right now. I think that that's possibly bringing somebody in, but through socializing or a friend group or some kind of connection that you have to like a very different group of people socially that might be in a different place or very diverse or somebody you connect with on the internet.
Oh, as an Aquarius sun and Jupiter, so you gets money. Oh, he gets money.
I love all that conjunction, you know, I mean, just the stellium in general, because there's this like wanting in the first house to like go after something, like going after what they want. But then I guess the question is like, do you find yourself in situations that you've chased things? Like, have you ever had that experience where like you really want something and then you get it and you're like, this isn't exactly as fulfilling as I thought it would be? It's like
Gemini, Story of My Life.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like there's something about this that's teaching you that there's some sense of needing to kind of practice, like taking your time with Saturn going through here. Like, it's not about what you accumulate or what you end up kind of possessing. It's the experience and the pleasure and the process and like learning to like watch something coming into its being, like watching something grow, for example.
And your challenge is you have so much knowledge, bro. You have almost too much knowledge. So your knowledge can get in the way of what you manifest. Sorry. She, my bad. Your knowledge can, I kind of love that too. Aquarius is so masculine, but like you have so much knowledge with like what you manifest. It's interesting because I'm Taurus rising Gemini, you're Cap rising Aqua. So I manifest individual communication. You manifest collective knowledge, and Saturn is strengthening your value. So like Saturn personally is like, you can get anyone you want, but what's your money looking like? Because we don't want you to be with no broke boy. Seriously. And that's squaring the Taurus fifth.
She also said she's accidentally psychic. Whole sign wise, your moon Saturn's in the 12th. So that makes sense. There's a side of you that keeps, maybe you feel like you need to be alone or you need your own space.
Oh, you're immortal. Congratulations. Yeah. Now that
Mike is like, hi, I can see you've also been to hell and back. Your passport has been stamped with hell,
Because before, you almost died before then. The woman who told me that, I almost had my car accident. She's like, yeah, you could have died before that. I was like, yeah, I almost have died of a car accident. She's like, well, you're immortal now. Congratulations. I was like, yes. And you have inner authority. So like everything you feel that's right on the inside, you have to just believe and do research around it. It's a little bit like confirmation bias, but it's actually Saturn moon.
Very interesting also that your sun squares Pluto. And there's like this.
Juno?
Yeah, there's like this, you've been going through a little bit of this crisis of faith, but it was necessary to really come into your own personal power and belief system, and then also just like having to learn to keep certain people at a distance. Like it's about, I understand you're an Aquarius, but you have that stellium, so it's like quantity or quality. There's always this back and forth that you're going to go through.
Yes.
And I would say second house stellium has to learn that it's about quality. It's not about quantity.
Oh yeah, that's
right. So you can bring in people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're your destined person and that you have to hold on to them forever.
Yeah.
Because I have a stellium in the second. We collect things.
Yeah.
So it's things, people, friends, memories, or something that you collect.
So true. And I have to tell this to you too. You're gonna have the Pluto switch. It's gonna go through Aquarius, you're gonna remember. Oh wait, I'm a ruler. I'm supposed to rule over you mortals, and it's just gonna happen. And just embrace it. Okay, you have so much knowledge, and you might be super uber detached and like kind of be like an alien dictator, but I'll look up to it. Like it's kind of what you're meant to do.
You're gonna look around after the Saturn transit next year, and you're gonna be like, I am so much more solid. Like fuck anybody who doesn't want to commit to me.
That's fact.
Yeah, you're gonna realize that your value just went way up, and that Saturn was protecting you from certain people.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very exciting. Let us know what happens. I'm excited to see what happens. Especially come back like later at the end of the year, or the beginning of next year. I want to hear how you have kind of established yourself in terms of your self-worth, because that's, like I said, your price is going to go up, You're
going to be set for life. Like, you need to work for money. But that could be a new problem, because it's like people want your money or knowledge. But yeah.
All right. So we've got Tyrone in the house. Let's see. Got to plug him in. And that is January 8th, 92, Cap Daddy. You have a lot of Cap in your chart. How's your life been going? You've been to hell and back too.
Oh, he's a 90 Cap.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. St. Paul, Minnesota. Oh, that was AM. Okay. I guess the real question is, are you a Vikings fan? That's really all I want to know. That's going to tell me way more than your astrology chart. There we go. Ooh, my Venus is on your ascendant.
0 degree Cap rising. Oh, he's a super Cap.
Yeah, I knew it because I've seen the Capricorn placements for that year.
Rising North Node. Oh my goodness, bro. Jesus
wow,
Christ.
Saturn is just making you his bitch.
He might actually just be I see the Saturn. I mean, that's just like, oh my goodness. You're another super alien. Did he have a question?
Yeah, so he said...
Oh, and your moon. Oh, your moon Saturn too in Aquarius, dude.
What can I do to come into financial success? Spoken like a true Cap Daddy.
Well, that's actually what you're going through right now. First of all, you have to understand that the value that you manifest will never be enough that people can pay for. Like, you offer value that is significantly, extraordinarily more valuable than most people can pay for. So you have to really run that whole challenge of, are you going to preserve your quality, or are you going to do the quantity game? It's almost like what we said last time. This is really powerful because once Saturn finishes out your second, you're not going to have money issues anymore, because you're actually securing the method and function of manifestation, but not as a regular Joe Schmo, as the literal director God. So I didn't know you have Moon Saturn, and this is also kind of carving through soul authority with Juno too. Jesus Christ, dude.
I mean, financial success is, look at the eclipse that we just had. We just had an eclipse that was square Saturn in your second house. So Saturn is your chart ruler. So it was really kind of showing you like where you needed to align your goals with your true creative authentic self. You have to let some people go, right? Or you have to let some old job or power structure kind of go in order to come into this. I feel like when you have a very strong Uranus transit, which you have been in, you've been having Uranus trine Uranus, so that's happening.
And North Node 5th is literally self-employment.
I feel like, though, Saturn coming into your second house in Aquarius is like, what are you learning about your resources? Where does it make sense to kind of cut back on certain things, stick to a budget, tighten the belt a little bit? Like, do you need to be learning about crypto? Do you need to be learning about pooled resources, right? Aquarius in the second is innovative and it's new. And also,
manifesting knowledge.
The Saturn transit that's been going through your first house for a number of years has been in preparation to have you go, I only need me. Everything's on me. Like, I can do it. I can do it myself. Like, you know, what am I willing to sacrifice and let go of so I can come into a new state of being? But these people who have, you know, North Node, Uranus, Saturn, Neptune, all these Capricorn conjunctions
destined for greatness.
What, 80, it was from 88 to 94?
Yeah.
We're all here to clean up the mess in society.
Yeah,
we're all here
that's
to
a fact.
rebuild something in society. So a lot of us have been standing around waiting for society to catch up to us. Everybody's thought we're crazy.
Right.
When in reality, prior to the pandemic, a lot of us were hustling and building our businesses and doing shit. And then when the world came crashing down, we're like, we're cool.
We're cool.
We got this. And people are like, how did you do it?
That's
So now
true.
we're going to help teach other people how to do it. So for a lot of you who have this conjunction, you're really important in the process of what's going on in the world right now. The thing
And
that I would
embodying
say
it too.
is that, you know, Saturn's in the second. So Saturn delays, he doesn't deny.
Yeah.
And for you, it's
Oh,
about
that's
doing
true.
work that's of service because Saturn's at a 6 in Aquarius. So, you know, it's making sure that you're working as a group towards a common cause.
It's
Basically.
establishing the authority of knowledge. You have to accept that you have authority over the knowledge you manifest. The way you make money in this life is to manifest knowledge, and you have authority over the network you command. So Kylie Jenner has Jupiter here, and she's made close to $1 billion.
You're so obsessed with her.
Well,
You're so
'cause-
obsessed with her.
Well, first of all, she's sexy as fuck. Second of all, like, her chart is lit because, like, it's the second house, you know, like, she made a lot of money quickly. So with you having Saturn here, it's going to be longer, but like Kanye, it's going to reach billions because you're stacking up so much knowledge. You're writing a library of collective knowledge, blog writing, communication, and yeah, that's how you gotta
I mean, I could see that. I would just say, just keep in mind, because you have Sun, Uranus, Neptune all conjunct, and Saturn and Uranus rule your second house, you are constantly going to be changing and upgrading and transforming your values, what you deem valuable.
Yeah.
So it's not just money, it's other resources, other talents, other things that you have that other people cannot possess. So it goes beyond
you have
dollar
soul
signs.
knowledge
Yeah.
too. It can't be bought.
Yeah.
So like you can't undersell yourself ever really. But the challenge is, how do I ground it with Taurus and make these higher concepts real?
Hopefully that was helpful for you. Let us know. Circle back. Ellie, I've got you, but I need your birth information. Can you please send that to me? I don't have it in the memo. I've got Michelle, Zena, Austin. I've also got Starry Ari, so I'm going to take Ari. And let's see. Let me plug Ari in.
Ari has 29 degrees Mercury in Sag, 0 degree Neptune Cap.
I love how you know this.
Oh yeah, her chart is phenomenal.
Let's see. Here we go. So let's put Starry, and then while I'm doing Starry, Ellie, please let me know your info. Starry. Here we go. 11/30/84. And that was at 10:58 Harbor City. Thank you guys for your patience. I know it's taken longer than usual.
Ari is Virgo Rising, Pisces Moon, and then like Saturn, Sun, Sagittarius, right? So like she's a Toltec shaman who can literally speak to ghosts, but she's studying a PhD in around like, you know, counseling and psychotherapy, but she can also bust a cap in your ass because she knows her way around a gun. Like,
Thank you, Ellie.
it's like holy shit. Like she literally is everything. It's amazing.
Okay, so she's from Cali, but it was meant for Wisconsin. Oh, I saw you guys talking shit about the Bears and the Packers. First of all, my whole family is from Wisconsin.
What?
My husband hates it. He's a Bears fan. And if you come to my house, Mike will tell you how many different types of cheese that I have. And I know a thing or two about football, and I happen to be a Packers stock owner. So I do have stock ownership. You can see. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Ari, what would you like us to talk to you about? Oh boy, Mercury retrograde on her midheaven. What are you restructuring in regards to work? What's happening here? What is happening here? Your chart ruler going retrograde on your midheaven. It's making oppositions to Saturn. It's going back and forth on top of your north node. What are you realizing in regards to your beliefs and what you're teaching and where you're going? Where are you traveling?
Higher education. She's wrapping up a PhD program.
Cool.
Yeah. Masters, and she's about to initiate some new shamans.
I think it's cool. Is she doing like are you doing like activations of the crown? Is it like, I mean, I don't know what she's doing, but does it go through the crown?
I think so. That's a good question. That's uncannily accurate too.
Not a fan of
No, amazing.
Don't listen to him. It's an ongoing feud in her house. I'm really curious about the Mercury retrograde on your North Node. Yeah. The fact that it's activating what you just had, which was the eclipse that was in opposition to it. So you're clearing stuff out. The fact that you also have Mercury in opposition to Saturn. Maybe it feels like a little overwhelming right now with what's going on with work because you feel like you're being bombarded and there's so much stuff you have to get done, whether it's like tests, finals, work stuff, things in terms of like getting the initiations up and running. I think Mercury in opposition to Saturn with a square to Saturn is just feeling like you're getting bombarded with your schedule. Like, do you need to like bring in other people to help you?
Because there's a lot that she's doing right now too. She's
giving back a lot, but really pay attention to your health, Ari, with that Saturn square. Because Saturn square Saturn will kick your ass if you get run down. And it's also about like asking for help from friends and like people to kind of help you fill in the gaps with some of the stuff that you're doing. Yeah. Like you may be in a turning point where you're like, can't quite hire anybody yet, but I need help. Like, do you have an opportunity to do some kind of mentorship? Like, can you bring in people who can possibly like work underneath you and volunteer? Like, are you going to offer the possibility for some people to come in and like do the initiatory work with you if you're doing the shamanic stuff? Maybe they can't pay, but you're like, okay, I'll work with you. We can do it donation based, but I need you to help me actually set up things in regards to like the travel plans.
Which is key because everything you said is her wrapping up how she constructs this work. Saturn. I
think you need some interns. That's what I think. Right. I think you need some interns to kind of help you carry the load right now because you're going to see like things can really catch up to you when you get into August, when you start to see these squares where you're like, oh my God, you're like, what's happening? Like, do I feel like I just need to take so much more time to kind of catch up?
But the challenge is teaching interns because what she knows is so specialized and advanced.
Yeah, but they can help her with scheduling, planning, like, getting people like signed up for stuff, handling stuff relating to travel, like doing like promotional work. Like there's things that you can do. You don't have to teach them, but I'm like, oh man, it's not just your Saturn square Saturn, it's Saturn square the nodes and a nodal return. Yeah. So it's really saying it's time for you to really step up and get into a schedule that vibes and it flows so you can become the teacher because that's where you're going.
And you are destined for some element of fame more attached to what you teach and like share. So all of this is going to hyper accelerate.
Venus and Capricorn, gang.
Yeah.
I like that you have
past initiates. There we go.
Venus in the 5th, though. That Venus with the trine still to your midheaven is like, also like talking about women, talking about elders, talking about tradition, like bringing in the ancestors, doing a lot of ancestral work. And I would imagine that you're either working with a lot of women that are clearing their ancestral lines, or maybe you're like working.
That's exactly it.
Is that what it is?
And to answer your question about having more interns, it's like she's going to come into new initiates who could be new interns.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be really good. You're really going to start reaping the rewards, especially when, Jupiter is coming into conjunction with, the North Node and the other placements in Taurus next year. I mean, that's when you're really going to be able to kind of step into the next phase. And you're not going to be like, I'm not just a teacher, but I'm also traveling and I'm publishing something and I'm like teaching more courses and I'm also like working with like younger people. Like for a lot of people who have those really strong Taurus placements, like next year when you see Jupiter go into Taurus, you're going to understand like why it was such a good investment of your time and your energy, and like why making sacrifices in all of 2022 was like worth it, and like really grinding it out, because you're going to travel more, you're going to expand more, you're going to bring in more wealth. I mean, Jupiter in Taurus literally is wealth. It's a wealth of knowledge, a wealth that people will pay for. It's being able to buy land. I mean, there's like a lot of really cool things that are going to come from just grinding it out all year and making those sacrifices. Good on you for really trucking through your Saturn square in the midst of a North Node return. That is not easy. That is a very difficult square to be going through right now. It's like what David Palmer's going through. David Palmer. He's going through that square too.
That's hilarious.
Good for you, Starry. Arnold Palmer. Can you tell my mind is fucking burnt to a crisp?
Oh yeah.
Guys, thank you for your patience. We have Michelle, Zena, and Austin. You guys are awesome. See, I know sports stuff. All right, we've got Michelle.
Did Elle give her a birthday?
Oh yeah, she did. Thank you.
Oh, word.
She did. Thank you for catching that, because I would not have caught that. Let's see. Ellie Smith. Ellie, what is your question? That was May 29th, 1991, Bellevue, Washington. May 29th, 1991, 2:16 a.m. How you doing, Tiger? You enjoying the Thunderdome? Are you used to having like the readings like this?
No.
It's like boot camp for you, huh?
It's a lot of sitting in it. Actually,
Mike can't stay in a room for very long.
it's a lot of Gemini.
He's like, I can tell right when he hits the threshold that
Isn't that obvious? I love it. Oh, 91. That's like my favorite year. I feel like it's a twin with 90.
Okay, so Ellie, May 29th, 1991.
Oh, let me find out you're Gemini.
And I just want to
go.
confirm this to make sure.
Happy belated birthday,
Yes.
my friend.
2:16 a.m. Oh, no, it's a.m. Nope, that's not it. See, this is why I double check. Okay, it's a.m. Okay, so you didn't see that. There we go. Pisces rising. Can I ask about a connection with someone? I don't know their birth info. We can talk to you about relationships and seeing what's going on.
And congrats, because you just had a brand new 12-year cycle with Jupiter going through your first, and you're going to become everything you were meant to be. And you got your MC in Sagittarius, so you're everything people are meant to see, and your moon is there, so you feel what you're meant to show, and you need to be provocative AF.
I mean, your Mercury transit that's getting ready to start up right now.
Isn't the truth?
It's going to light the fuck up your 7th house, because if anything, it's going to be eventful. Uranus coming into conjunction with your Mercury, right? It's going to be highlighting your 7th house and also your 3rd.
Your debuting
whole
right
sign.
now. Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling this is about you starting to have conversations with somebody mentally or energetically before you connect. Like, you might feel like you're having a bit of like radio interference and you're going back with somebody. My ears are ringing
As a
I
Gemini,
say that.
I heard that too.
You heard it too? Okay, it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
My ears started ringing.
And as a Gemini,
Weird.
like that, she just described the process I feel like I'm going through. I didn't even know that that's what it was until you just said that. So yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
there's something happening here because you have Mercury Pluto in opposition natally. So there is this sense of like kind
Saturn
of like
return.
getting a little iffy about the idea of like feeling like you're vulnerable or communicating like you want to read other people, but maybe you don't feel as comfortable with people reading you. So as Uranus comes into conjunction with your Mercury, perhaps maybe you're going to start having this connection before you meet them or dreams about them, or maybe like you're picking up their names or things about them just in general. Or maybe there's somebody you're interested in and you're feeling like you're having this connection now, but you haven't really aligned in like the third dimension. That's a little crazy with the Saturn square as well. You're also one of those people that's getting hit with the fixed T-squares. It's about believing it before seeing it, I think, with Saturn in your 12th.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to break it down with like Saturn square Mercury, delays in relationships, Saturn square Pluto, delays in travel and beliefs. And the Uranus stuff is going to set this off. Not to mention the fact that you've got a Mercury retrograde that's going to be taking place in your 7th later this fall, which will trine Pluto. So I think that the connection may become more legitimate as you get closer to this period of time. So look for that like September, October. When you have a very strong positive transit to your natal Mercury, like the Jupiter transit next year, maybe you guys are visiting each other, seeing each other more. You know, this will be like next spring, but some force outside of you with the Saturn square is keeping you, whether it's physical distance, like they're in another city, they're in another country, they're going through stuff, you can't see what's happening before you connect with this person. It's just delayed. That's all. There's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, Neptune on the rising too. So like Saturn has to clear your rising, and you'll see things center around the fact that you're debuting a new version of yourself. You're destined for greatness. And that Mars opposition to Juno with Saturn opposite Jupiter is a conflict as a Gemini sun. So you're finally, your power is returning. You're overcoming that. And like you think you're a badass now, you're about to realize you're way more badass than you know. And, I guess the relationship the people who you're around are kind of mirroring your progress to let you know if you want more of that or less of that too.
You've also got Uranus trine your 7th house cusp, your descendant. So that's going to shake things up too. And in whole sign, it's in your 3rd. So I feel like you're going to be joining groups and talks online or like local community events, or maybe if you feel called to like walk up to somebody and talk to them, or maybe you see a name and it's coming up for you intuitively and then you meet somebody with that name. Like you have to listen to all of those mercurial kind of tricks because your mind's going to be moving very quickly. And if you feel like you make a connection or you see somebody that you need to talk to, like reach out, like follow that impulse.
Yeah,
because
it's going to be 12th house to you, so you won't be aware of it, but it'll be intuitive.
And it's also going to trine your natal Neptune. So somebody's coming in, but you're going to see that kind of come more full circle in the fall.
Yeah.
And you have Venus conjunct the South Node. So there is a lot of like karmic relationship stuff there.
And Chiron.
Yeah, and you've got Venus that's in an opposition to, Neptune and Uranus. So people come and go. You'll make multiple connections. Not everybody's kind of meant to stay,
Or pure.
Hopefully that's helpful. Let us know. Excited to see what happens. Circle back, please. Michelle.
63?
Yep.
Oh. Let's get it. What is next for me, love?
So she's 6/16/63.
Another Gemini.
It is your season. Did you like the meme that I posted today? About this is how a Gemini is born? Did you see it? Oh my God, you're going to laugh your balls off when you see this.
I'm going to look at it.
I posted this and I'm like, Mike is going to steal this from me. That's the feeling that I had.
It's that good.
Because I know if I have one that's very controversial or mean, usually you'll repost it.
Yep.
Okay, Michelle, Sag rising, Sun in Gemini, Moon in Aries. I remember this chart. All right, so let's take a look and see what we have going here. What's next for me? Or love? Thanks, Farah. We appreciate you too. Thanks for watching and all the other 40
Shout
people.
out to you, bro.
Okay, so what's next for you, Michelle and or love? Well, I mean, couple things.
Libra.
Mercury's coming into conjunction with your
Oh my
natal
God.
Mercury and your Venus. It's so true though. It's true. If you guys have Instagram, go on Instagram, go to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology, look at my Gemini meme because it could not be more perfect.
Oh my God.
His memes are killer because he steals them from me. And I steal them from other people.
She is my meme
I'm the real villain.
Her and Ari.
Shit.
Oh, yes.
Gotta give the people what they want. It's a fucked up world out there right now. People need to laugh. Okay. So, what's going on with love? You've got Mercury and the Sun going into your whole sign 7th. It's going to be a theme for the next month. I feel like this is going to get a lot more colorful later in the year.
Oh, yes.
Right? Because look, she's got Neptune square her Sun right now. And then she's going to have Mars going back and forth over her Sun.
Did you move or are you planning to move? Just curious because Jupiter went to the 4th, so that's ancestry and like... Oh, and a Jupiter return, so
actually, yeah, it's really great for expanding anything in regards to home life, domestic stuff, family, children, relationships with younger people.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and Moon in Aries, so... Well, you know, what's next for you, which is very important, is...
Now that you've survived Pluto square your moon, hopefully...
You're reconstructing a whole new lifestyle. You're unlocking your spirituality. And as like the people's angel that bluntly tells the truth to other people, you're creating a lifestyle that can support the love that you want. But as a social leader, you know, because you got the MC Libra, what you're doing right now is preparing you for 6 months later, where you're going to integrate this revivification of your talents and inner child with who you can share this with socially.
I could definitely see. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I
definitely see how there's a lot of relationship potential here.
Right.
Because you're in your Saturn return. Saturn's in a trine to the Sun and the 7th house cusp. Damn. You've got Saturn in a trine natally to your point of fortune.
Right.
The Mercury retrogrades this year are very interesting for you, Michelle, because that's going to be a time to like re-examine and communicate what you need in terms of partnerships and what you value. Right. So actually, like everything that's setting up now in Gemini season is a lot of action, which leads, I think, to like much more passion and desire when Mars is on your moon around the end of June. Maybe you're just feeling like you're getting your house ready, you're getting everything. What is this? What is this?
Yeah, that's good.
You're getting your emotional and your private life possibly ready for somebody new because you're seeing all the Aries energy sextiling your 7th.
Yeah. And like everything that you've learned and known, right, with Saturn returning, you're coming into the full, oh my God. You're coming into the full authority of. So, like, it's not like your first Saturn return. This is another block around here. So you've completed the full authority of what you know to really manifest this unconventional lifestyle for other people, for yourself.
I think things get really steamy for you from the end of August on. When you've got Jupiter going back and forth over your IC, you're open to new emotional connections, new love stories. Mars is in Gemini. It's going into your 7th. It's going to cross your Sun. And it's getting you really in touch with like deep, profound changes and transformations and unions with other people. And you've got a Mercury retrograde happening in your 10th and it's trining Saturn in your 7th. So maybe there's like a sense of you being like, maybe I can be partnered. Maybe I can identify differently in the world. You know, what do I want? And when Mars goes retrograde in your 7th, I know I sound like a broken record, but it is going to be the ruler of your 4th going retrograde in the 7th. So people from the past come back. Or maybe you start contemplating, would I share a space with somebody? Would I open my home to somebody else? Would I cohabitate? Would I move? Would somebody move to me? Something like that's going to be taking place. Really show up for those conversations in October. And I'm loving the fact that like still Jupiter and Neptune are trining your 7th house. So it's like talking about things before you go deeper into an actual connection with another person. I would say if you're feeling lost in translation or there's issues in communications with relationships, definitely consider getting a reading in the fall. Like, I would say a really good time to get a reading is probably going to be mid-October while you're having all of these trines to your Saturn and your Sun. Great time to talk to an astrologer. Great time also to just, like, kind of look over what's been happening in terms of your romantic life and, like, assess whether or not somebody is going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we need to do, like, a poll for, like, what's your favorite cheese? Because I'm feeling a little insulted right now. Mike, are you good? Are you still with me? Okay. We're almost done. God bless Mike.
Is it 3 or 2? We got like 3 more.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Got this.
Let's see. We got Xena. Dude, I will do this for 3 hours on the internet. The day before the eclipse, like 2 weeks ago, I did live readings like this. It was 3 hours of astrology.
Damn.
By myself.
Holy shit.
Yeah, people were melting down, but I was like, all right, let's do it. I knew it. I knew it was going to be crazy.
People patient enough to wait 3 hours. That's
I know. Well, I mean, they're waiting for us to do their chart together. That's not something we've ever done before.
Exactly, yeah. Added it together is a whole nother vibe.
Okay, so 1:14 p.m. and
84.
Calgary. Okay, so Alberta.
AB.
What's up, Xena? Hopefully you're doing well.
Yo.
You know what? I want to make sure that was right. Because, first of all, Xena is not spelled that way.
Zeta Warrior Princess.
I want to make sure. Is that the right time zone? I guess it is. Okay. Aquarius Rising. She says,
Hi, Queen.
home from Mexico. No plans to go back. My timing's been amazing so far. Gaining employment again. Second Saturn return. Hitting right now. Felt hyper responsible to stay put and focus on responsibilities. Give me the tea for the next 6 months.
You have 29 degrees aqua on your rising. You're an instrument of celestial karma. Yeah, so
Saturn at 29.
that return is like everything you say is law, and Jupiter and Neptune in your second is having everything you like narrate in existence happen. It's a high honor. So hi Queen Xena. This is, and then we know you're the ascended goddess. So 29 degrees Sagittarius. Jesus Christ! Literally, that's like. Wow.
I think it's interesting that, you know, 29 is super psychic too. So when you're having Saturn transits, it's also sextiling your Mercury. So there's this internal knowing of like where to go and when. But I think that, you know, the eclipses, Saturn square, your ascendant was really putting the emphasis on like where you feel like you need to be. Your body also, I hope that you're like really stretching and like tuning into what your body is telling you. Saturn the first already doesn't have limitless energy, but your second Saturn return, we can really feel more of the effects of like aging and the stiffness. So like yoga, hiking, like light weightlifting, all of these things are really helpful because it's going to be the practice that you're going to have for being able to like overcome and achieve something and doing it on your own if it's in your home sign.
And so like this return of power, I love that everything that Candace just said is really important too, because Pluto so close to your AC, or Pluto coming so close to your 12th house. As an advanced personality, as a celestial queen, you are unlocking codes of transcending your body and immortality.
I'm also looking at like the North Node's about to sit on your Jupiter, and Mars and Uranus are going to conjunct that. Did you get involved in crypto? Like, you have some big wealth coming, like suddenly, unexpectedly. And it's going to be something connected to like health,
close
wellness.
To the Jupiter return, probably.
Yeah, like, but it'll start to be unlocked actually at the end of July, because when you see Mars and also Uranus conjunct your natal Jupiter, it's like you had to go home to bring in more wealth or more opportunities, or like find that like there was an opening to make like a substantial amount of money before you make you kind of restructure your plans and figure out maybe where you're landing, like what other country you're going to next, because I think you're going to go somewhere else.
Which is wild, because she says you're going home, but like, your MC's in Sag, so your legacy next to the queen goddess of Jupiter, Hera, is to be seen. And you're using all of that to really inspire people to understand the truth. Because you are a truther.
Yes, to the crypto. Holy shit.
But like showing people the other way around it, I think. Like,
what a wonderful conjunction. Look, it makes an opposition in Neptune. So she's literally going to invest in crypto, watch it run up, sit at home, wait, cash out, and then use that to go to another country. Like, that's what's going to happen. Somebody said, how is your back doing?
Great.
Yeah? You guys want to come give Mike a back rub?
Nah, I'm just restless as fuck right now. But like, thank you for putting me on because I didn't even think that's how to see the crypto.
Yeah,
but
she said UK next. Yep, very Taurus.
And Neptune, Jupiter's went through her second, involved her finances, so it is a lot of sudden wealth. Like very, but see, it's not just sudden wealth as much as it's also supernatural black magic mastery, and you are
because it's 18,
and just like completely coming into the full authority to. You like, she can literally say, I'm 2 Saturn returns in, and the universe just has to do whatever you say. It's like officially, I don't want to say you're B, but like, I kind of want to be facetious here because it's 29 degrees. So like, I can say certain things to the universe, and the universe will be like, shut up, peace dealer. But you'll say it, and they'll be like, okay, Queen Xena. Hi, Queen Xena. What, go do it. And like, you're 2 in, like, you earned this. Like, congratulations.
All right, so I will take Austin. I'll give you a break. Let's see. Austin, are you still here, my friend? Let's see. 216.95. A lot of Aquarians in the house.
New Gen 95.
8 a.m. Rockford, Illinois. Okay, so are you a Bears fan? Here we go.
Something big is coming. Yeah, all of you new gen, like 94, 95, 96, you're next step. You're coming of age. So, like, that's what's coming. You. Because you're leaders of a new school, and you're introducing concepts that a lot of us still think are fantasy.
February 16, 1995, 8 a.m., Rockford, Illinois. Wondering what direction I'm heading. It feels like I'm in limbo, like something big is coming. I'm not sure if I'm doing the right things. I just moved to a new city. Working jobs make me feel like I'm replaying a cycle I had graduated. Needing to know for my business path is the right one. Scatterbrain.
MC Sag, your legacy is to be seen. And you're another grand wizard. What is with you grand wizards? Oh my fucking God. You have your Uranus 28 degrees. Your Uranus is being awakened, which is ridiculous.
Well, also Neptune on the ascendant.
Right. Oh, wow.
You just want to make sure you're not running away. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have Neptune conjunct your ascendant for a little while. Neptune on your ascendant can have you feel like you're, like, kind of lost and you don't know what direction you're going in, and there's a need to really tune into your body and, like, your intuition and become, like, super zen, even if it means being on your own. So for Pisces risings with this transit, it doesn't matter where you are. You can feel lonely or you can feel disconnected. 2, Saturn's on your sun, which is the ruler of your 6th house. So you might be feeling like for the rest of this year, you're just doing odd jobs. Like you're bussing tables, you're serving, you're bartending, you're working in food, hospitality, all this 6th house stuff to kind of get through, to get by. But next year, when you have the onset of your Saturn return, and really the fruit of it is going to be 2024, like, I'm going to tell you, it is possible for you to, in a way, disappear for 2 years, go to another city, get really into, like, meditation, spirituality, learning more about esoteric stuff, asking yourself, do I need to continue my education? You know, what is my belief system? Because you're going to emerge when Saturn sits on your ascendant, and you're going to be a different person, and you're going to have different friends, you're going to have a very different life. So something different is going to be happening. That's going to take a little bit of time. And like your natal sun and Saturn are in your 12th house. So to some extent, this feeling of feeling isolated and separated and not really knowing what direction you're going in general is kind of part of the course.
Yeah.
So you can take that time to kind of just check out and disengage and then go in a different direction.
After the 12th house leaves, you're on another wave. Like, you're becoming your divine self. And if I can speak Aquarius real quick, You have everyone fooled, Austin.
He says feeling very disconnected, literally serving food. Yeah. Because it's meant to be a humbling experience. I mean, I know this sounds weird, but I kind of feel inclined to tell you that, you know, the sun is, it is of service to other people if it rules the 6th house. So it's like, if you go to another city and you do that, that's great. But you could go to another country, right? You could also go and you could work for a nonprofit and like actually help feed people, or go and work with a group or a church, or like a behind the scenes type situation to kind of help people as well. Like it'll play into your spiritual growth, believe it or not. It's also going to be about making friends in new places. Saturn on your sun might make you feel like you're lonely, but I think when it gets off your sun and it comes into conjunction with your natal Saturn, you'll be like, I can be anywhere and I'm still going to feel this way. So I might as well be in a different culture, or in a foreign place, or in a place where I feel like I can have new experiences. Thank you.
Too much of anything is a bad thing, and you have to accept that you know too much, Austin, and you're a grand wizard. So
I get the impression, looking at this, to be really honest with you, that
12th house, you're watching 12th house Aquarius right now, by the way.
By the time Saturn comes out of your natal Saturn conjunction and it stops opposing your moon, there is also going to be a much more profound creative sense of self, like what you have to express and what you've created and what you've made. It's difficult, but like, this is the chart that I see of somebody who's like a nun or a priest or a shaman or a therapist, or somebody who works in a hospital, like private spaces, right? There's a need to actually have that time for reflection. If you willingly take that and you know that that's the lesson through your Saturn return, you're going to come out the other side and be very super, super, super different. And it does require going away from home, going and being away from lovers with the Saturn opposed moon, being away from family, and it's square Jupiter. Like, I think you need to go and put yourself in probably a situation that the culture is so different than what you're used to being around. And like, you know, I'm not downplaying, you know, being from Illinois, but it's like, go and be in a city that's like extremely different than where you came from, right? Whether that's in the United States or literally going to another place. Because it's about how you learn how to kind of cope, and then also find the good in other people through that process and giving back. Like, and yeah, I could see where you're into like environmental stuff and things that are going to be able to help people, but I would say go deeper, because with that sun in opposition to Mars, you're going to keep feeling that pushback. Where it's harder to get what you need until you go and you deal with a little bit less and you help those who are in need themselves. Some challenging stuff. I think it's actually a really good time for you to like get a reading. You just moved to Austin, Texas. Cool. Well, I mean, that's definitely different than where you have been living, but I would say the next phase for you, that Mars retrograde, you know, it's going to go retrograde in your 4th house. It's going to square Neptune. You're probably going to move again. So just be mindful that, you know, there's probably another move coming and you're going to go back and forth about what feels like home. Keep your options open. The likelihood is if you're not already feeling this with the retrograde, there may be another one that's going to come later this year, and it's going to make you realize it's time to go somewhere else, or that it's time to return somewhere. This is ridiculous. I love this. But hopefully that's helpful. Thank you for the products also. Plug your info. Plug your products. They're great. I really love that third eye scrub. That one was my favorite. That and I like the tattoo balm. The stuff that you sent me. And the prints that you guys had are also like really, really, really cool. Like, see how it says my name over there on that card? It was like cosmically guided or something. Great products. And they're all like eco-friendly. Last but not least, we've got Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you really snuck in there.
1990. We
My
saved
dude.
the best for last. The greatest year of all time. Totally not biased at all.
Okay.
Cancer too. So you got that super juice, bro.
So
you got
September
the Jupiter
16th,
Sun
1990.
Cancer. She said July. Yeah.
September 16th, 1990.
Oh, I was completely wrong. Virgo. So you got Jupiter Leo. I see you.
December 16th, 1990. And it's Grizz.
That's October.
Oh,
Grizz Logic.
Yeah.
That's good.
1990, and that was at 9:51
That's what's up.
p.m.
Career path guidance. Nice.
We got a Floridian. Mike's favorite place.
Nah, let's get it.
All right, let's see. So we've got Grizz.
Jeffrey somehow.
And he says career path guidance.
Well, MC Aquarius.
Oh
this
man,
is amazing.
Pluto. Ha!
Taurus rising. So we know that, okay, this hits home because for career as Taurus risings, bro, you have the Virgo perspective and I have the Gemini perspective. So like, you know, Will Smith is an MC in Aquarius, and Saturn was his Oscar. Yeah, he's banned for 10 years, and that sucks. But he got an Oscar. Okay, so like we're coming into, because this is our first Saturn return, success that no one has ever seen before. So we're literally solidifying the knowledge of our legacy. Our legacy is to be known. So like we're activating that for the first time, and it's setting us for 30 years. And it's the delay with Saturn is having us like kind of know the authority and positions we're establishing. But, you know, because Uranus is so close to your rising too, the ruler of that 10th is on your rising. So you are literally becoming this success story. You're manifesting your royalty. You're unlocking all that. But I feel like as a Virgo sun, you're aware of these dynamics. Like I'm in Gemini land in my head, like oblivious. But I feel like you're aware of these dynamics so like analytically and critically. So like enjoy, because this is where it all turns around.
Oh man, like Uranus has been conjunct your ascendant for a while, Grizz. So it's like, that in itself tells me that you've been in the process of rebelling and not wanting to stay in one place and wanting to change things up and needing freedom and the ability to roam. Because it's been in preparation also for Uranus to come into a trine with your Saturn, which in turn is going to restructure your career. And then you have Pluto coming into conjunction with your midheaven, which is literally happening in this next year-long period. Jesus. I mean, you, in a way, you kind of have to keep flying the freedom flag. Like you can't break free right now.
Do you think
can't
Pluto
commit.
on the MC is like being infamous?
Yes, but I also know that it's going to be very unusual for that particular degree, because the North and the South Node are going to come into a square with Jupiter. So the big jump off point for you career-wise is actually going to be around this time next year. Like when the North Node conjuncts Jupiter and it squares Pluto, you don't understand. For the world, if you happen to have a really early degree Aquarius MC, it's really important because it's a power up period. But this is when everybody is forced to come into some kind of change. Like we're going to see this May, June, July next year. And it's going to be uncomfortable unless we're willing to kind of really jump into the Pluto and Aquarius. So this is about where you are changing and transforming in a very significant, futuristic, group-oriented way when it comes to your career. One career may die and another one may emerge. Thankfully, Jupiter is going to be on your ascendant, and so is Uranus and all these other planets. So you're going to be able to go deeper into a new cycle, but you may have to move. You're going to have to possibly present yourself in a different way. You're going to have to be really creative and optimistic and resourceful. Pluto's going to dance on your MC on and off for a year, right? While you're having Uranus trine Saturn. So your job is changing very much in about 1 year's time. So you just did a getaway. Well, that's nice. Being in the forest is good. I think that's really great. But I know that once it hits, when we were just talking about this in one of the podcasts that we were filming, when Pluto returns to Aquarius, Venus and Mars will join. You are Venus. Your partner is Mars. So when this conjunction happens in 2024, it's not just entering into the world and your career in a new way. It's a power couple. It's you and another person, what you're building, right? Maybe throughout this next year, you're traveling, you're having freedom, you meet somebody, and then all of a sudden you realize that you align with somebody romantically or business-wise that has the same vision for the future of their career, and they want to work with you. And then there's this big unveiling that's happening in 2024.
Yo.
So you need another person to make this happen because Pluto rules your 7th. And this is also very public. So 7th and 10th house, you're going to make a very big splash with like, here's what I'm doing, here's my thing. You can bring a lot of attention to yourself with Pluto on your IC and Jupiter on your ascendant. Big time.
And you have Juno in your 7th with Pluto. So this is relationship definition in unexpected ways that right now you have an idea of, but the reality of is just gonna be so, it's matching you on a level that you've never experienced.
Yeah, you're going to be quite shocked.
Yeah.
People who have their early North Node or their Saturn or their Pluto in the fixed signs are going to be like, whoa, I have to show up now. And then Pluto will spend several years going over your North Node. So you're going to learn a lot about the need to work with other people, whether it's relationships, whether it's clients, whatever it is. That is going to continue to grow for you, and you're going to realize there's strength in numbers, there's strength in a business that you're building. I mean, and right now you might seem a little lost. You know, you've had Jupiter and Neptune in opposition to your sun. There's a little bit of
going through the 12th house, yeah, you will feel lost a little bit. But just surrender.
Yeah, surrender is key. And I'm excited to see what happens, especially because this is all going to be on the top part of your chart. So you're going to get a sneak preview of this next spring, is the one thing I will tell you. Next spring is when that starts to unfold. But right now, I would say for your chart specifically, it's giving yourself that freedom and going and aligning with groups and other individuals and people who are also going to help you kind of get on that wavelength. Kind of similar to what Mike said, when Jupiter goes through your 11th, you find people who are just a part of your tribe, like, you know, who kind of help you get on the path of where you're going and align some of your beliefs. Very exciting. I'm excited to see what happens.
Longest live we've ever done.
Mike made it, y'all. Give Mike a round of applause. This is a big deal for him to be in a room for a couple hours at a time. Thank you guys for staying, for your support, for your generosity, for your donations, for being able to make it possible for us to keep doing this. We really enjoyed doing this, and we have new content that's coming out for you guys soon. Anything else we should say?
If you would like to join level 3, you can get a free astrology reading instead of 3 cards tarot if you would like that.
Yes, and from here forward, we may either post it and let you guys know which one we're doing, or we'll do a poll. We're not sure yet. We'll talk about it and figure it out. But if we do the astrology, just so you guys know, because these can run longer, we will probably have so many slots available for readings. So first come, first serve. Check out the community tab when we post this so you guys can get on the list and ensure that you're getting a reading. Give us a thumbs up, share this video, leave us a comment. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see all of you very soon. Take care.